What's good, Relocation Football League fans? It's your boy Smitty and the booth here. We've got the whole gang. It's the big three, me, Bill, and Mix for episode 4 of the Relo Cast or whatever. Look, I'm skipping up the names. RFL Live, whatever. It's the RFL Live podcast. You know, so many different names for this thing. But we got a lot to go over, guys. It's been a crazy season already. With the title I even gave this thing, I said, hey, episode 4, I'm calling it Big Games, Big Signings, and Big Controversy. So those are huge factors in which we'll be touching on and going through. And hopefully you guys sitting here watching will enjoy, of course, the content of the podcast that we have going on here and get more insight on things going on around the league. So let's just go ahead and get things started off immediately with again, just to show off more of Neon Sports, the games. So I'll quickly go through the scores, and just like last week, we'll just quickly pinpoint the key games on things to talk about. So here we go. Neon Sports is up again. If you want to have access to Neon Sports, make sure I gotta do this here. Make sure you scan this code and request to be a part of the league, so that way I can approve your access that you're trying to get, and you'll be able to see everything that you're going to see here where it comes to the stats, the standings, rosters, everything you need to know about the RFL is right there. Neon Sports, man, a great businessman that helps out with showcasing everything you need to do with your franchise stuff. So yeah, these aren't in order in which the games played, but let's talk about, let's go through the final scores. And I'll say who covered the spread and who didn't. And I'll bail myself right now. I didn't post the spread for the games that past week. I'll make sure to do it this week. But again, if you want to know what the spreads are and who I think is going to win, I set the spreads for the league that you see right here in the middle for the team. So I went with the Bulls win this game by 4 more points. So the plus side is always the team that is expected to lose or given the points, if you don't know about betting. And the Bulls did win, but they did not cover the spread as they defeated the Barons 20-19. That was a great game. Then I had the Explorers defeating the Desperados at Dallas, and the Dallas Desperados coming up huge, 33-19. Spread not covered there. Of course, we'll dive more into key games and everything after I go through it. I gave the Miners to win this week on the road in San Jose over the Condors. But the Condors get it done, and they win by a huge margin. You can see here, 38-10. Then we had the London Black Knights. This game got postponed. It was supposed to premiere earlier, but man, what a game. Gino Gannon, I think, has flipped the script and what we think moving forward about the Black Knights and how their season might go this season with how he's played. And he played up against the rookie Jordan Granger, and man, did he show up and show, hey, I'm a vet in this thing. And he got it done, 45-27. Definitely covered the spread. I did have the Black Knights winning that game. Then the Tigers versus the Huskies. I had the Huskies winning this one, and boy, did they. This was the opening game of the week. Calvin Pools, you see him gracing the thumbnail cover. And the receivers were just going off, and the Tigers just could not do anything about it. Great defense, too, by the Tigers. 35-10 was the final score there. Heartbreaking loss again for the Cougars this week. Of course, we'll dive into that with Coach Roby here. 20-15 had them, and then in the final 9 seconds, the Hogs able to complete the sweep, and they were projected. I projected the Hogs to win this game by 2 or more points, and they got it done, man, in the final seconds, 20-15. Armadillos taking their first loss to Coach Frankie J of the Dreadnoughts, and I did expect the Dreadnoughts to win this game, and it was nice competitive. 31-23 was the final score as Coach Roland Woods loses his first game of the season and first division game. We'll talk more on that. The Snowhawks 2-1 after a rough start to the season, bounced back 2 back-to-back wins. They were expected to win this game by 7 or more points, and they win it by 14, 2 scores there. So that's the final score there. The Aviators remain undefeated. I had the Red Dragons winning this one with the home field advantage. And boy, the Aviators and Kyle Bain continues to show, just like the Black Knights, that this team is way more than we expect, at least in my opinion. I don't know what just happened right here, but looks like my power went out for my light. But okay, I'll see about getting that fixed.
I thought I saw something weird like that.
Yeah. 49-31 was the final score, very high scoring. Heartbreaker and Houston, the Voyagers losing after trying to go for a 2-point conversion, try to pull a bill, and the Explorers in their first game of the week against the Tigers did not work out in their favor though, as the Sentinels are 2-1 on the season with a 34-33 victory. The Bison still in search of their first win, as the Celtic Tigers were able to earn theirs. 34-19 the final score. Did have the Celtic Tigers winning this by 5 or more points. They covered the spread. The Boston Shamrocks versus the Crusaders. I had the Crusaders bouncing back and getting a win here by at least 6 or more points, but the Shamrocks 2-1 after a big victory, 33-14 over the Crusaders. And the Pioneers, this is the biggest spread margin that I had, and it was definitely covered there by the Diablos, as they were able to defeat the Pioneers by 22 points, 37-15. London Bulldogs remaining undefeated, had them winning by 10 or more points. They were up by as much as 17 points, if I can remember. They were up, and the Gunners were able to close the gap a little bit there towards the end, 27-20, as the Gunners fall to 0-3. And speaking of 0-3, the Marshals 0-3, as they could not get it done on at home in DC, as they get swept by the Monarchs, lost to them in the opening week, and then losing to them here 2 weeks later in another close game, 30-20. And I did actually have the Monarchs winning that game by a field goal. And the game of the week lived up to the hype. I had the Steamers beating the Thunderbirds in this one. As you can see, the Steamers to win by a field goal, and they got it done. They won by 6, twice as many points. So that is the games. Just quickly going through the final scores. Let's go ahead and down the list of what I just went through. Just talk about, the key points. So how about the Bulls, guys? The Bulls are 3-0. Devin Wade is balling. He has not thrown a single interception this season, and he's got 7 touchdowns. What do you guys think about the Bulls and how they've played so far?
We haven't done this in a while. Rob, do you want to go first, or should I?
Doesn't matter.
I
just said Wade still sucks. Yeah, he does. He's happy now because he's undefeated and he's got the touchdowns and no interceptions. So now all of a sudden he's going to talk Wade up like, oh, he's been immaculate this entire time.
Been pretty decent, man.
No, he's not. No, he's not. It's not that great. No. All seriousness. Obviously the Barons coming off that hot game they had with Q-Pac, man, the last week. This was kind of disappointing for them here at home. Only putting up the 19 points. Thought it would be way more than that here. But Brooklyn on the road, obviously with a hot Devin Wade. It was a difficult game for him. So I can't really be. I'm not going to act like the Bulls don't deserve this. Obviously, I saw Q talking about the pass interference and everything.
Yeah, that was.
It was really, But I get it. I'm happy for the Bulls. They seem to be got something figured out here. But at the same time, I was kind of more disappointed that the Barons did not have that same success from a week ago, man, because they went crazy against the Marshals here. That was ridiculous, man. So yeah, that's all I've got with that one.
For me, I feel like the Bulls have always been a team that could be something, but all the years with Lane Kearney, there we go. All the years with him, it was like good play good through the regular season, couldn't get it done. And then Devin Wade comes in, and Wade was like a guy where he's had some troubles, but if he has the talent and he can get out of his own head, if you will, he can be a good piece for this team, because the Bulls have a decent roster, and I think they're showing that now, as long as Wade can continue to do that. But the problem is, do we know if he's going to continue to do that, or if we're just seeing a little snippet of good play right now?
Yeah, Great start right now for him. We'll definitely see that get tested as the season goes on. And speaking, Bill, I'll let you go first on this game. And so the Explorers, we'll get more into big news, but big injuries, man. You lose Daryl Johnson and DeMarco Landolt both in this game. 4 weeks, I think maybe 3 for Daryl Johnson and 4 to 5 for DeMarco Landolt. So that'll be 4. And the Desperados now have beaten both the Thunderbirds and the Explorers back to back. With that being said, I want your takes on the game, and then just in general after that, what do you think about the Desperados? Is this team the real deal this season after the acquisition of Marquise Washington and how he's played? Or do you think, they got lucky within this matchup based off of, the injury that happened?
So I feel like, first off, with how this game went, I think the first, I'd say quarter, maybe quarter and a half before things started derailing for us, we were going back and forth pretty well. I think both defenses were playing well, holding into field goals and whatnot, and we really focused on trying to stop the run this week. We didn't want to let Tavion Hall get off and it just go crazy. And I guess if you're going to pick one, you're going to have to allow the other to do what they want to do. And eventually Marquise just did what, we know he could have been doing all of his career. He just never really showed as much in with the Aviators. So I can't really say that this was a fluke win. I can't say that this was they just got lucky because of this. I think that the Desperados, for some weird reason, just work. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But they have a great running back. Now they have an excellent quarterback, and they have speed demons at receiver. They were getting open downfield all night. Even with some faster corners, we just couldn't keep up, especially trying to contain the run. And after DJ went down and things just started spiraling, then they just really had their way with us, and it wasn't good. But I do think that this is a real Desperados team. Even watching the first quarter into, if you want to say that, the injuries derailed things for us, they did, but it wasn't like we were making, that much progress against the Desperados when we had a healthy team. They were still moving the ball. They were still holding us at bay offensively. So I think this is just a team that has some young talent that's got to develop, but they now have a really good quarterback that can sort of elevate them a little bit more than maybe some other quarterbacks could in the past. And they're just showing what they got now.
All right, Rob, what's your take on this game? And do you think the Desperados are the real deal?
Yeah, I've been talking the Desperados up, since the beginning of the season when I found out that Keith was on the Desperados. So you guys know my take on that. I don't think this is really in my opinion, this is not really a game in which they just it seems like they dominated, because of the score. What I will say is that it was basically the right left punch of Keese and also Hall in the rushing. Right, they had both 30 rushes total for 160 yards on the ground. If you're looking at the passing of Keese, he didn't have any passing touchdowns. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. And so it was and Tavion kind of had a decent day, himself on the ground. It wasn't, the best. It was average. But it's just that when you get these 2 players on the field, and it's those moments, right? I'm starting to learn it's those moments, it's those 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 15s, whatever, 4th and whatever, in which, they just are able to convert and not make any mistakes, which if you look at the turnovers, they had 0 turnovers in that game versus the Explorers. If you look at the stat line, these teams are both matched pretty tight with stats. But it was the 0 turnovers, 0 mistakes versus the Explorers. And that's how you beat a team like the Explorers. That's how you beat the Thunderbirds. That's how you beat the Bulldogs. You don't make mistakes, right? So as long as they're not fumbling, as long as they're not throwing INTs, this team is going to compete pretty much with the best of the best, as you can see what's going on here. No, I don't think this is a fluke whatsoever. I think the guys need to be locked and loaded when they're ready, when they're playing against, Marquise Washington and also Tavion Hall, man, because these guys, even if you look at when you look at the passing stats, man, the wide receivers of the Desperados, man, they had minimal catches. I don't think anyone had more than 4 catches. 30, 40 yards. It was just them being able to convert the runs, and get the first downs and just keep pushing against the Explorers. Unfortunately, DJ, who was having a remarkable game, I don't remember the exact, but I think 73%, whatever he was. He was having a good game, but the injury, obviously, right, just is going to ruin the team's morale. And that's something that we've kind of seen with the Explorers, because it shows you how much quarterbacks really mean, to the game. Like, this guy's stacked, right? But that quarterback leaves out of that system, and now this team can't keep up. We're not used to seeing the Explorers just put 19 on the board, man. So, yeah, Desperados, very, very real. So,
Yeah, and moving on to the next game. I mean, I guess this is more of a just general question here, man. How shocked are you about the Condors' victory at home? Pretty much saying, hey, we should have been the team that ran Sacramento, beat them by 28 points, 38-10.
Yeah.
Do you think, does that say a lot about the Condors, or do you just think that this game in general for the Miners was just wasn't a good game just for them?
I think that with us being in the foul now, and I think that with coaches basically now not knowing the opponent that they're facing week to week, I think that now all of a sudden becomes one of those things where, teams have to try their best to just adjust what they can. Like, this is the first time the Miners obviously are going to meet the Condors, right? So Dunn doesn't know what to expect out of McCoy, right? He doesn't know, what to expect out of their defense, their running game, right? And again, it's just one of those things where you're just kind of I'm not saying winging it at this point, but you're just trying your best to stay afloat, right? But the thing about the Miners, man, that honestly was the issue here. They're priding themselves on the defense, but boy, they gave up 5 red zone touchdowns in this game, right? 100% the Condors.
Man, looks like my PC is still
Doors
doing
work.
skips.
And I something's going on.
I can hear you.
Skips?
But
Yeah.
Are we good?
Yeah, something just
I-
got my computer just
he can't?
raw.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was gonna mention this before.
Wow.
I don't know if it was on my side or
Yeah.
not, but I was noticing little tiny 2-second skips every
Yeah.
so often before. I didn't
Okay.
say nothing because I wasn't sure it was me or not. But yeah,
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it looks like I gotta figure
Yeah.
out what this is, man. Because oh my
Oh
goodness,
man,
just got this thing.
you
fixed.
guys don't know the dilemma of Smitty's PC, man.
Yeah.
This has been a 3-year project and it's still in the works.
Still in the works,
That's
bro.
crazy.
Upgraded, thinking that was the final thing I needed to do,
Oh,
bro.
man.
Finally got this thing.
This is why I hate. This is why I hate PCs as much as I love them because they're so
Yeah.
emotional.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, but I was just playing on the fact that the defense gave up the 5 red zone touchdowns, and I'm just was questioning what happened right on the defense because that's something that they've been working on, and it just it just wasn't there, man. So I forgot what I was coming, the full thought I was coming into because of the skip here, but yeah, that's all I had, man. But yeah, sad day for Sacktown, man, and hopefully they can figure that thing out going into next week.
I'm a little on both sides here. I feel like even though the Condors have not had the most prestigious history, we've seen glimpses of how special McCoy can be. We've seen that it doesn't matter how old he is. Cornell Mickens still can just do things whenever he wants to. Chris Clark coming in, having a couple of big carries. And the last couple of years, I know that you have sort of put it on to get this defense better, bring in the talent, and they are starting to come together. And I don't think this is one way or the other 100%. I think it's more of like a 50-50, 60-40 thing where the Condors are a legit team. They're just starting to catch their groove. I also do think that the Miners just, I don't know, maybe they assume this was the Condors of the past and just, one of those trap games, if you will. They should be winning these kind of games, but it's also early in the season, and I know that with how things have gone so far that some coaches are still trying to get things figured out and get exactly what their game plans are going to be. going to the rest of the season down. So I think it's a little bit of a fluke, also a little bit of a show from the Condors that, hey, we're here too, and we're ready to play.
Yeah. Moving on, the Black Knights and the way they're looking now. 2-1, right? Even the game they lost against the Bulldogs, they were the champions. Geno Gannon's balling out of his mind. He's already got a connection with his tight end, Mike Strongley. The run game with Langford Cloud seemed to have finally popped this week. But again, and it's not to say that, it's a weaker end team, because usually the Lumberjacks are actually pretty good against the run. That's the strength of their defense. But Cloud still went off. This line is kind of getting carried from Geno's ability to extend plays too with his legs. So now it's almost as if the line being as bad as they are overall wise isn't much of a factor. So when you're looking at all these things, you're seeing Geno Gannon put up 45 points on the Lumberjacks, who is not too bad of a team right now. What is your thoughts, man? I mean, I've talked about this, about the Black Knights, the flip being switched. I mean, this used to be a playoff team back, and back in the day. We didn't expect this team, after, all the losses and everything that's happened to them, to even be anywhere close to doing this. But they land Geno Gannon because they had the money to do it. We'll talk more about Geno Gannon and his signing. But, yeah, the Black Knights, how impressive have they been to you so far this season? And do you think, again, that this is going to be a playoff team this year?
I'm not, you know how I am about trying to figure out playoffs teams this early. They look good, right? If the playoffs started tomorrow, they'd be in there for sure. Geno Gannon definitely looks dangerous. He played excellent football. Loved calling this game. There's so many different factors with this game, though. One, I really like what the Black Knights are doing. They're establishing the running game with multiple backs. The week before, we saw O.G. Holman come in for Cloud. Then yesterday, we saw Noah Walker, the Clemson star, come in, and he had some pretty good plays and everything, short yardage here and there, but keeping the chains moving. And so the scheme right now, is looking very good for London, man. Now, your boy Corrigan,
Corrigan, play the bell.
Yeah, man, he's absolutely. Honestly, I think that's what allowed Geno Gannon to go off, man. Was the fact that they didn't have anybody on the field that could guard Mari. Right.
And not to mention they had 3 key injuries too. They lost 2 linebackers.
Yeah, they did have the injuries.
They had their highest overall player was out, and Pennington.
Yeah.
And another linebacker, and Julian Davis was gone. And their top tight end, who's usually a good receiving threat, was gone. Yeah.
So there's no help defensively in the flat there against Mari. So he just pretty much did anything and everything he wanted to do, and he's doing his little jig and everything. You know what I'm saying? After every little catch he got, I like Granger, man. I really do like Granger. I think that Granger just got overwhelmed by London's defense, which, it started getting to the point, man, where he could not really do anything but just check it down. You see, and you could actually see him go from being that quick decision quarterback, right, where he's getting positive yards, big meaningful gains. To him just having to either throw that thing away or check that thing down, man, and they just absolutely just stalled this offense here. I know it says 27, man, but this game was a lot further apart than it really was. Obviously, the late scores they had toward the end of the game. But London definitely looks good, man. I don't want to measure them off of this win here. I think they're supposed to beat the Lumberjacks in this fashion. That's going to be the case, but I do think that they're a good-looking team going forward, though.
I just think that anytime you have a quarterback like Geno or Marquise, or I'll just put DJ in there because all these electric quarterbacks that are so high overall, they can run, pass, do whatever they want to do at any point. You're always going to be somewhat in play for any game that you're in. Even if you're not favorited, you can go off. Geno's got the ability. We know he does. But I actually, what Rob just said was exactly what I was going to point out, man. This defense, they shut it down for the Lumberjacks because you have 37 completions and 48 attempts, and you're not even averaging 7 yards an attempt. That that just shows. And you got 77% completions. You are chucking this thing to the nearest running back in an outlet that you can find because something's going on. And I just, I guess a little bit like the Condors, but I don't think that the Black Knights are exactly there yet. I just think that they've got the youth, they've got some electricity. Once in a while, you're going to see them pop off like this, but I do still think that they're going to have some struggles at times throughout this season. And I also think that the Lumberjacks got sort of a bad rap this week, sort of like we did. Maybe it's just an NFC North thing. I don't know. But they got some tough injuries, and, it can really derail your game plan, and I think that played into it as well.
Yeah. All right, another key thing, the Huskies. I mean, I expected this game to be closer between the Huskies and Tigers, but Calvin Poole immediately meshing, and this is kind of what I was expecting him to do once, I was able to get him there to the Huskies. It was just such a great fit. At that time, nobody really was going to bite on taking a quarterback. And, we knew he was the best quarterback coming out the draft. And to land on the Huskies, he sat majority of all the entire year last season, his rookie year. Got to play on one game, won that game. It's just been sitting back Devin. And this guy's got 7 touchdowns on the season, no interceptions, just like Devin Wade. And he is absolutely balling. He's clicking with his receiving targets as most, Toronto Husky quarterbacks do. And, it was Brady Hudson. Then it was Holden Wolf the year, just last season, I say. And here he is doing the same deal. This looks like a playoff ready team. What do you think about Calvin Poole and his, presence right now? I do feel like he can take them to the playoffs, but do you feel like, he can make a deep run? Could he even potentially, combat to be a high nominee for, MVP this season at the rate he's going? And how about those receivers and the way they've been able to ball? Keith Guyton, Tyrese Maxwell, and Isaiah Streets. This offense is just looking crazy.
Yeah, with with everything you just said, you stole it right out of my mouth. As long as those wide receivers stay healthy, Calvin Poole should be, straight for success here. That game, he just looked pretty much immaculate. Perfect QBR rating. The guy he's in a perfect system to succeed, man. There's nothing there's nothing really no issues at all with that team, man. The line is great. They have a great halfback. They have tremendous wide receivers. They've got a defense that plays raw. And there's really no. That team is just primed. That team's actually, in my opinion, it's been primed for many years now. I always try to go back to the Chiz era, and even before the Chiz era, it was a good team. You see, but now this team now has that youthful quarterback, right? That's not aging. That's just starting off, and he's only progressing and getting better here. So as long as they stay healthy, I see Poole, in the discussion for maybe MVP and stuff like that, with the other quarterbacks, and I definitely see the Huskies being a deep playoff run team now, because they're looking good, man. It's a great win for them. Keith Guyton, though, I just want to quickly highlight the damage that he did to the Tigers. Boy. that was crazy, man. And he's actually lucky. The Tigers are actually very lucky that I know everyone's like, wow, it was like 4 targets, 2 touchdowns, 100 and whatever yards, right?
Yeah.
And look, the best thing that could have happened for the Tigers is that is how his day ended, right?
Yeah.
Because no, seriously, that's the best thing that could have happened. It's almost like he got in the game, impacted it, and then sat down, right?
Yeah.
And then so that's the best thing that could have happened in that situation, man, for the Tigers, because this could have very well been 50, 60 points easily by the way he was looking, but the game decided not to target him even more than it could have, So yeah, very good win for the Huskies.
I'm not really surprised by this at all. It's the Huskies. You can say what you want, Smitty. You have put this team into another stratosphere with all the players that you have put on this roster, and then you throw one of the more consistent and electrifying college series quarterbacks on the roster. So I'm not too shocked at this. I'm really not. I think the Tigers, they can have some fun sometimes, and they're again, just like the Black Knights and the Condors, they're developing their younger talent, but they're not on the Huskies level, and this does not really surprise me too much.
You
Let
want
me
to say
see if
something,
I
Rob,
can
before I
look
move on?
at the. Yeah, man. So Pestuck, obviously Crow is there. Lattimore,
Yes, Saquon.
yeah. I like this kid Brewski. Obviously Javante, Stay Mates. Lunsford is the other one. Lunsford. When you added Lunsford
And
and
Saquon.
Pestock and
Yeah,
Saquon
and
on this
Pestock off the
team,
trade. Yep.
yeah, you've
Mhm.
automatically made this team uh like it's almost like a mini Pro Bowl, ARC Pro Bowl
Yeah,
team,
and don't
right?
forget
On
the
defense.
drafting of Glissick and
Yeah.
Yeah. Glissick, Dan Glissick,
Alexander.
yeah, yeah.
Like
So I mean, this is 2025 season 9 young T-Birds in the making that he's put together here very skillfully. So I mean, hats off to you. Hats off to the Huskies, man. I mean, they're prime, bro. It's a tough team to beat, man.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I still shocked at the Titans. I know they're like they never made a playoffs, but the players and everything they got on this team, I figured that game would be close. I'm not shocked they lost. I'm not shocked they lost. I did think there's at least going to be maybe a 14-point game, maybe less than that, maybe a touchdown. But yeah, that's just. I think the Huskies have just caught their groove early. We'll see how long that lasts. But moving on to this one, this is your game, Rob. Another tough, close game, man. Came down again. You have not lost a game this season by more than 5 points, which means just as easy as you are 3-0, you could have easily have been. 0-3. You could have easily have been 3-0. And this was the closest that you could have got a win, where it literally came down to the final 9 seconds, and Ronnie Shanahan throws a game-winning touchdown up the
Yeah.
seam, and
Yeah.
just happened to find a guy there through a perfect ball. And that is hard to do, by the way, I would say, guys, because with the quarterback accuracy sliders, the only way you make a good-looking pass is if you're accurate. You see, if you're watching these games, there's a lot of throws that just aren't on the money. And if you got a quarterback that cannot deliver that ball like that, you will tell. And for Ronnie Shanahan as a rookie to come in and have this Hogs team at 3-0, twice defeating you guys, but again, he did the same thing in the first game. Y'all had the game, and he just happened to bounce off of a sack attempt and throw the ball like he was still playing at Oregon for the touchdown. What is your thoughts on this game? And also, what is your thoughts just for both of you guys on Ronnie Shanahan and the Hogs right now being 3-0 in their play?
Just to give the Hogs all the flowers right now, man. This is an amazing accomplishment right now. I know that 2 of those came against the Cougars, and I understand where we are right now, but you cannot take anything away from them at all. They earned those 2 games. It's kind of it's annoying because I used to cheer for Ronnie when he was in college, call his games and everything, and now I'm cheering for him on Saturdays and he's killing me on Sundays. So it's really annoying, to see him, progressing against my team so well. But I have to be happy for him because he's a good guy, and I followed him in his college career, and it's really magical, man. And did I want to throw my TV at that bomb, to Tavion Blue? Oh, that's a Wisconsin guy. I was even more upset about that. Bill knows. So it's just it was really bad, man. So I got to give the flowers to the Hogs. AW, man, you guys played very, very well. That defense was absolutely smothering us and everything, right? So I got to give it to him. Great win, man. Great performance.
I think this was another a testament to sort of like with the Black Knights and before, like where it's like this team, or in the Bulls, like they have so many good veterans. They were a consistent team in the past with other quarterbacks, and they had to obviously, got older. Mackey moves on, whatnot. But they bring in a guy now in Shanahan who seems to have hit the field running, and it's picking right up where it left off. Now, is it going to be able to continue on the same trajectory it is right now? I don't see that happening, but they got a little bit of a lightning rod now, and I'm assuming that they're going to run it until the wheels fall off because Dre Shivers. I mean, you got that Sylvester Leach. You got how many guys on defense that are getting up there? Case and Fine, and All these other veterans that are definitely not going to be at the peak of their career much longer, but they got a chance right now. So I mean, I don't know. I don't think we're going to see them continue to go undefeated, but I mean, they got some juice to them.
All right, moving on to the next game, the Armadillos and Dreadnoughts, Frankie and Roland. Roland takes his first L, and his team has been playing great. Don't get me wrong. I've talked about that. Of course, it sucks to have your first L be against a team in conference. But on the road, we kind of talked to him about this. We kind of brought this up, not talk to him directly, but just, was in his direction in the public so that people could see, like, the Armadillos have done this before. They started out like, oh my God, the Armadillos about to be a playoff team this year. Oh, Chumlee came here balling. He did that the first 2 games. And then, you get in this game and Chumlee absolutely plays his worst game. But one thing that is staying consistent with these Dillos, though, is that receiver out there, man. Jordy Johnson is a problem. And so that will always, in my opinion, give them a chance. Yeah.
You mean Jordy Johnson, the one that was on the trade block within a week?
Yeah, that same guy who was on the block.
That guy.
On the block, no trap, was out here about to get traded. And the Dreadnoughts, they get their win, and boy, they needed that win. They didn't want to be. It's always better to be 2-1 than 1-2. A good thing, fortunate thing for Roland that he's to the same record after his nice 2-0 start. But what's your thoughts on this game? The Dillos started out beating the Steamers, but again, we talked about settings at that point. But they still went on. They beat the Shamrocks. But then they play the Dreadnoughts, who, in my opinion, are the better team than the Shamrocks. And they still keep it close. It's within 8 points. What's your takeaways here, man? Are you still looking at the Dillos the same? Or do you feel like it's going to be the same kind of season that it's been for these guys for the past 2 years?
I'm not gonna roll out just yet on the Armadillos, man. You see what I did there?
Bars.
But yeah, but no, I'm not gonna roll out just yet.
I would have said that you would have called it corny, man.
Because
I got you, Bill. Next hard thing you say, I got you. Pause.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, moving on, man. Yeah. Well, you should have had now we're getting the glitches here. Okay, no, but he's facing a user coach. So those games are typically supposed to be harder because the user coach is investing all his time into trying to stop your team here. Obviously, Chum had some boosts on the week 2 that were no longer a factor for him. So he's back down to whatever it is. 80. What is it, 84?
He was a 90 and then went down to an 87.
87, yeah, that's a
truly an 84.
Drop
so that boost was huge.
Yeah, truly 84. Yeah. So I have to, give the hats off to Frankie, for his game plan. Obviously a close game, but I don't want to give up on the Armadillos just yet, man. Chumlee, he still had a decent game. He threw 3 touchdowns. The running game, man, 15 yards. That's it. So down. So you just gotta kind of take the good with the bad a bit here. I think this is, a game that's decided between only 8 points after shutting the halfback down like that. It tells you that the team is not necessarily a bad team. It just missed its cue for this week, and he faced a hard team at home in San Antonio, man. I still believe that the Austin Armadillos, man, got some more shocking to do here in the RFL in season 9 with Coach Roland Woods behind the helm.
Yeah, and that's sort of what I'm sort of preaching to. Like, I don't believe that the Armadillos are now a huge playoff contender because I think we have to see a lot more consistency out of them because, like you said, we've seen this in the past before. But when, like Rob just said, your run game was shut down. Less than 2 yards a carry is crazy for a running back. Mm-hmm. And they still were within 8 points. That's saying something. Now, hats off to Frankie and the Dreadnoughts for the run defense.
Great
but
defense.
Chumlee still did go off through the air a little bit. He was able to make plays, and it still ended up coming down to technically a one-possession game. So I'm not sold on the Armadillos yet, but I'm also not giving up on them either.
right?
Also, big shout out to CC, man. He had the INT
Yeah, I was about
in that
yep.
game there. Yep.
Shout out to him
And
actually
then
getting to see an interception because he technically has 3 in his career, but Coach Davis did him dirty when he didn't mean to, of course, but he did him dirty when he had the game against him. Didn't take no photos of the interception.
Oh, man,
and then
that's
something happened with the game where we don't have the footage, so that game is literally erased from history. We just have what the final score was. So it was cool to see him get that finally for the first time in a live game that had commentary.
Tootley and Angelo are playing out of their mind. I just want to highlight those guys, man. If you haven't watched Dreadnought's defense, man, bro, they are balling. Also, Bill, Roman Morrison has been balling as well.
It's nice to see that, man. It's still good to see. He's still a good player, man.
Yeah, he's been balling, man. Trey Sinclair as well. So I just wanted to shout out the defense. Colo, youngster,
that's a
been
good
getting
point
in there.
to bring up too that Frankie
Colo.
just said. One guy who was an absolute beast in the making already in his rookie season. Miles Brock. This guy got pretty much 20,000 XP in one game because he's got 5 sacks and he jumped up 4 overalls and is an 83 overall defensive tackle already.
Yeah.
Bill is surprised.
I highlighted him.
He didn't get to look at it. Yeah. Bro, we did the thing. He literally is an 83 and earned every piece of that. Look in the file.
How does he get that much in a single game?
He had a goal where if he got 5 sacks on the season, bro, they gave him bro had 20,000 XP.
Hey, awesome, man.
That was crazy. Yeah. So he's a beast.
Juggernaut.
They
call him the Juggernaut. I like it, man.
The Juggernaut.
I like that, man. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. My goodness.
Yeah, that defense is balling, man. But I remember talking about Miles Brock at the game, and Frankie hit me up. I was like, man, I'm glad you highlighted Miles Brock, man. That guy's a beast. And I was like,
yeah, he's a monster, man. Here goes a little bit.
Yeah, that guy is a beast, man.
All right, so not going to talk about the Snowhawks game. Shout out to the Snowhawks and everything. You get your dub. Really wasn't too much to talk about here, so not a key moment really to go into there. Snowhawks get it done, so shout out to those guys. But this is something to talk about. Aviators, 49 points put up on the Red Dragons. We know that defense is nowhere near what it used to be. We know it's aging bad. But Kyle Bain, man. You know, we thought Kyle Bain. Not I ain't gonna say I messed up the last time. But I got his name right now. But man, I thought that when the trade was made for Marquise Washington, it's nothing but up for the Desperados. It's been nothing but up for them and the Aviators. Kyle Bain is playing out of his mind. This is a Reload Bowl winning quarterback. Back in season 3, he had to win the Reload Bowl for the team because LC3 was injured in that game against the Sentinels, and he was able to lead them to victory. And so this is a guy with some experience, a guy that, you know, kind of was forgotten. He was on the Elks too. And, you know, he was supposed to be that guy. They still got quarterback issues going on there that don't seem to be solid. And he comes over here, and him and Kingston Kinney are just killing it. Kingston Kinney did get hurt within this game, but I think he's good. So I think he's coming back next week. And I'm just shocked at how well they are clicking together. I feel like this is the exact same scenario as the Desperados with the Aviators here. What are you guys' thoughts on that? And what thoughts do you have on Coach Davis, you know, and his team showing up the way they did and taking this loss? Because at one point it was like 49 to like 15 or something lower than that. So it got bad. What you guys thought?
Well, I try not to bet against San Diego at home. I've always, you know, felt like San Diego is strong, very strong at home. So, you know, to see them get handled in that fashion at home is always just a disappointment. You know, as for the Aviators, I just have something really quickly to say, and I'll pass it to Bill. But, I mean, bro, Bain is going
It's got, if you guys can hear me, he's got a little bit, got a freeze going on.
touchdowns and everything is just absolutely immaculate, man. Even you know, big salute to the Avies, and just it was really a great game.
The one thing I want to say about this is, like, Kyle Bain and I mentioned this during the game that I called with the Bisons. And really, I mentioned before with Marquise. These both of these guys have faced issues in their career. Even though Marquise is great, things did not work here with the Aviators for him for whatever reason, one way or another. But that's why, like, that saying is as old as time and it's as true as ever. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Both of these quarterbacks, just a year or so ago, were in situations where one coach was like, this guy just doesn't work no matter what I do with him. I want to get rid of him. I don't care what his overall is. It's not working. I also don't want to pay him. We just got to go. The other side, Bain had a really good year with Salt Lake City. And, you know, then it fell off. He gets traded to, where did he go after that? The Desperados? Right? Yeah, he goes to Desperados. Never picks back up steam. Gets another shot here with the Aviators, and now he is balling. Marquise is balling. Sometimes it really isn't the player. It's just the situation. It's just how you have the team set up. Bain is playing amazing. Usually, we saw Kingston Kenny carrying this entire team. No pun intended. Yes, it was. But
bars. There you go. I told you guys.
See, look at that. Those are bars. I'm a rapper. But he didn't do anything this game. He didn't do nothing this game, but it didn't matter because Kyle Bain is confident. He's playing well. And no offense to the Aviators receiving room, but you guys are not them yet. He's making you them. He's making you them. Cole Cruz was a bona fide bust before this season. Everybody wanted to sign him, and he could never do nothing on any team. Zoe Sheffield, I know he's young. I'm nothing against him. He's just on the come up. You know, he's getting better. Armand Holland, he's been there. He's been good. He has been, you know, he's been there a long time, and he's been getting older and regressing. But, like, the fact that Kyle Bain just comes in here and just elevates this team, even though they had such a better quarterback last year, it's crazy to me. It's such a cool storyline. It really is when you think about it, how this guy just was. I talked so much crap about him. I'm sure we all did at some point, and now he's over here just balling out for a team that we didn't even suspect to be in this situation this season. That's just so cool.
Yeah. All right.
Big salute to Jalen Brooks too, man. Getting.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna
getting
that's
on
part
A's,
of the later segment when we talk about signings. But yeah. All right, we'll move on to the next one. Key game to go into. How about another coach game? Coach Armstrong and the Sentinels. This team wasn't expected to do all too good this season. And I'll be one of those people to admit that I didn't think the Sentinels were going to be too good this season. But now they're 2-1. Great start. And they've taken down the Voyagers and Coach Baker. And Baker, you know, the team was right there. Could have sent this game into overtime with the extra point. And who knows, maybe they could have won it. But it didn't happen. They tried a 2-point conversion. It does not work. And the Voyagers are now sitting at 1-2. This league has got a lot of things that are looking different from years past. What's your thoughts on the Sentinels right now, riding high, 2 straight wins, and the Voyagers, you know, sitting where they are right now? There's been some controversy also.
Yeah, this is just one of those weird games in which, the Voyagers, where a team plays really strong and actually outdoes the other quarterback, but then the other quarterback still wins, if that makes any sense. So if you're like looking at the stat line, you see how, Glenn Hay, he had the 3 tutties, he did have the 1 interception, but you look at, Wilkins Jr., he only had 1 touchdown. He was sacked 4 times. And so then you have to start looking at, okay, well, what else is going on? What's happening? So you have like this major arm wrestle between head coaches in which they're, basically their teams are, well schemed up. They know each other. They've it's perfect scheme fits, for the players and the mismatches and blah, 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 blah. Right. And so they're going back and forth. Right. And it just comes down to, what team is going to get the break, and in this case, the Sentinels get the break here against a very good, coach, against a very good disciplined Voyagers team, man. So, you just have to, tip your hat to the Sentinels is what they're being able to do here. It seems like Coach Armstrong, I've actually been able to talk to him recently, and he's got control of DWJ now, and DWJ is playing very good football and keeping them inside of games, So, big salute to what they got going on. Big salute to Firestorm, Nick Firestorm as well. His second second win, I guess you could say. Do we give the OCs wins and losses?
I guess so.
No.
Yeah, I mean they're putting up points.
Yeah, so yeah, putting up points. Yeah, so big salute to him, man. Him and Tor 2-1. Yeah, you can't be mad at that, man. Better than 0-3.
Well, I'm about to probably make somebody mad.
Yeah, right. Look,
I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on here. I don't. I'm confused. I got to see more, I guess. I don't know how the Voyagers are having such issues. I also don't know how the Sentinels right now are putting up things that they are and doing as good as they are. I just don't know. And I'm not trying to make it about.
Not good.
What's that?
I had like played the bell, but it was like on accident. I guess it kind of fit, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, like, I'm not trying to take a shot at anybody either. Like, it's just, if you look at these teams, you look at the Voyagers, they should compete. They have competed. You look at the Sentinels, there's a very big transition process going on there. There are certain positions that need to be recalibrated still. There are, I know they have DWJ. I get that. And they have manual now, but like, there's some holes on this team that are still waiting to be either developed or added to, which that's just what happens in the life of a football team. I just don't know how they're doing so well right now. I can't pinpoint it. Great game planning so far is, I guess, what we have to chalk it up to. I'm just surprised, and I'm also surprised to see the Voyagers down here.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Bill. As I kind of grow here, in the league, I am starting to realize too, man, that sometimes it's like sometimes your team can be a better fit for the playbook and the scheme than the other team is in, right? And then with some tinkering a bit, some moving some players around and everything, and knowing like what your team is going to run, it's like sometimes you can exploit the weaknesses of your team and make them more powerful against a team that's better than you. And I kind of feel like as Nick is working with Tor and they're scheming this, man, they're really starting to do some scary things with a team that you just said is kind of underwhelming in a sense. Yeah. And that's scary, man, because one thing we haven't talked about in a long time, which we used to talk about, is that, boy, they have a lot of cap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, money.
If they start getting pieces, man, to add to those vacancies you've been talking about, this team could be very, very raw. So I actually like what I'm seeing out of Firestorm. I definitely.
I think I had to cut out just that.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to give Nick the flowers and tell Tor the same thing, man. They're doing a good job. Whatever they're doing, just keep it up, man. Great win.
Yeah, and my last.
I just want to just say one last thing quick about the last game, because I just saw Zoe Sheffield's response. I wasn't trying to say that you were not playing well. What I was saying is like the receiving core of the Aviators as a whole for the last few years hasn't really been a crazy thing, and that you are now coming up into it, and it's I wasn't trying to take a shot at you, man. It wasn't like that at all.
Maybe he was just saying sheesh instead, just because of the,
I don't know, but I just want to make sure I clear the air, because I was not, because you actually had a good game. I think you're playing well right now. Yeah. I just can't believe Cole Cruz is actually performing. That's like my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, and then just to go, my last take before we move on with the Sentinels is that this offense they got weapons. DWJ is a good quarterback. They have some solid receivers out there. They got DeMount Emmanuel, who is a monster anywhere you put him. This was kind of where I had my disappointment, with when he was on the Miners, just splitting time and just not fully being used as he was intended. I know they had different thought process on that, but you see what the guy can do. Not only can he run the ball and be very effective, and, you can't get confused with the size of this kid. He may not be the biggest back, but if you run him in between the tackles, his speed kind of carries enough momentum to knock guys back. And on top of that, he is a very fast running back who can run routes and catch the ball. And they've been able to exploit that a lot throughout their offensive game plan. And we've seen a lot of wheel routes ran by this guy where he's just smoking by, And so I feel like the problem in the years past recently on why the Sentinels have really been on the decline since their Reload Bowl appearance back in season 3 is that, Tor struggled with adding pieces to his team, and they just got too old, and where they've been hit the most is on the defensive side of the ball. But the defense still has some decent key pieces. The offense is putting up points, and then even though we talk about, I say they have some decent key pieces. I mean, they still gave up 33 points here. This game still could have been won by the Voyagers. Last week when they played the Cougars, they had to win that game in overtime. They weren't really putting up, too many points until, towards the end there, and they managed to pull it out. So I still think that the Sentinels, 2-1, you beat some good teams, but at the same time, these guys still have a long way to go to climb, and some teams that they got to beat to show us that the Sentinels are back in season 3 form when they made it to the Reload Bowl. But I do like what I'm seeing from these guys. Moving on for these next games, nothing really to go through with the Shamrocks and the Crusaders game other than, great job by the Shamrocks, man. 2-1 right now in the season and really dominated that game. The Pioneers, man, getting beat down on by the Diablos. No key points.
Shocker.
Yeah, no key point there. Bulldogs and the Gunners, really nothing really to talk about here either. The Gunners used to be a great team. But now they're 0-3. I think Jabri Jackson is still balling, but they just can't win. And this all stems from everything that happened from when they did have a coach in the pieces they lost. Because right now, Jabri Jackson actually leads all quarterbacks in touchdown passes. Like the dude he's balling, and he's only got 2 interceptions. And he's been, doing his best to carry teams against good teams that they had to face, but they just keep falling short. And it sucks to see that he's 0-3 right now with how great he's been playing and everything, but it is what it is. That's a tough team. Bulldogs 3-0, no shock there. The Marshals 0-3 right now. That's tough. Didn't expect that. They lost to the Monarchs, and I guess we get a little bit into this in a little bit with the Monarch situation. That was the last game for Coach Ramos. We'll dive into that. And so nothing really to go over here within this game in that 30-20 win. And of course, this is the last game we'll touch on before we get into our next segment, and that is the Steamers and Thunderbirds. This was a great game of the week. Came down to the wire. The Steamers end up getting it done. You see a smile on Bill's face. He hates the T-Birds. But at the end of the day, 24-18 is the final score. The Steamers, just like the Desperados, have beaten the Explorers and the Thunderbirds. What do you think about the Steamers now? I mean, we've seen them just keep going on up and up each season, right? Their biggest issue was being able to beat those same teams that they just beat. And yeah, it was close games. The one against the Explorers was only won by 3, and the one against the Thunderbirds was won by twice as much with 6. But what do you think about the Steamers, man? And then also with the Thunderbirds, they're having their 2 losses. They start out 1-2. What's your thoughts possibly on that?
Well, the Steamers, man, they're a great team. Everyone knows Justin Jones. He put this team together, for many years and assembled it. And I think that the big thing that people have to realize is that when this team decides that it wants to play some defense, boy, can it be devastating for most teams. We've always saluted the offense and Reed, right? But honestly, Reed is one of those quarterbacks where he's kind of like up and down. What I've noticed is that if he continues to pass heavy, he usually is pretty successful with that team. If he can be pass heavy and they can complete passes, to obviously their studs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other thing though is that eliminating LC3 out of this game altogether really reduces the Thunderbirds, as you can see. I don't remember the last time I saw 46.5% out of LC3. Passing.
Now I asked this question since you bring this up too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with the Thunderbirds, their biggest issue, and we've kind of noticed for a while, was the reason why they took Devontae Sharkley. They don't seem like nobody can create separation. London Lions, you can already see that age hit them. They can't get open for nothing. And this guy literally, it's almost back to season 6 to where the first year, the only season they did not make the playoffs was because of this exact reasons. Like, what are your concerns from that being an issue for the Thunderbirds?
When I traded London Lions to the Thunderbirds, that was at the top of my list of reasons why I wanted to get rid of London Lions. Not that London Lions was not an on-your-head type of a guy at times, but it was like, this guy is not releasing like I'd like him to release and get off.
A pause going on here, guys. Man, I thought I fixed this computer. Here we go.
And I think that most people are going to realize that when you have a offensive wide receiver core that is not getting off of the ball on the snap, right? That can cause all types of problems, for your QB, for your team as a whole. So, that definitely is going to be a major issue for them. Shark is going to be okay, man. It's just that he's young. He's got to go through his lumps and progress, man. Luckily, he's starting. He's in a starting position, But yeah, that releasing thing, man. Even with my Cougars, man.
Well, I actually
as great as
say
a
this
wide
for
receiver
Lions, though.
Yeah,
Lions
yeah.
actually, that's one of his key attributes. You don't want to press Lions, and that's actually how he beats you.
Yeah,
His problem right now seems to be just separating, and I think that's where speed of his age is killing him.
Yeah. What is the speed now? Is it below 90?
It's definitely
80?
below 90. I think he's like 87, 86. This guy's out here with tight ends.
87.
Yeah.
And the league in itself is fast, man. DBs, safeties, it's fast out here, man. So it's harder on those wide receivers, especially when they're aging, to get open.
I'm really not that surprised by this game either. I think that the more shocking thing was when the Steamers went through that weird little drought there.
Because they definitely could have got more points.
Yeah, I just think that this is a team that has been really good for a long time. They had one season or so where they sort of, I don't know, lost their vision or whatever you want to call it, and faltered a little bit. But ever since, like Rob said, that their old coach Justin Jones built this team up, they've been a powerhouse. So I'm not too shocked at this. We've seen them compete with the Thunderbirds and myself and others in the NRC before, and they've always been in those games. So to see them win like this, not too shocking to me. I think they're a very good team. And on the side of the Thunderbirds, like you guys are already talking about with the receivers, yes. I also think that for as great as LC3 is, there's always a few games a year where he just does not perform. He does not process things properly. He's not able to find his progressions, and it just looks bad. Now, I'm not saying it's not because of the receivers. It's just sometimes, I tried sticking LC Sace on him for a reason, all right? He is up there with the interception leaders, just with my Everett Bradley quarterback as well, okay? Just want to put that out there. But what I'm saying is sometimes LC3 just does not show up to the game. And when he doesn't show up to the game, that offense does not click at all.
And that's a key point that you brought up, too, because there was moments in that game where, although, the receivers were struggling, those two interceptions that he threw were crucial. The first one, he had Tate Phillips. He made a great read, but he overthrew Tate Phillips, who was wide open towards the end zone after they got an interception. And then he throws a pick because he overthrew it to Caden Blair. And then that ended a drive that could have given him the lead. That's a momentum killer right there. Then when they get the ball back again, the very next possession, he throws a line drive straight to Taylor Mays, who's sitting still in the middle on a basic route he was trying to throw to Tate Phillips again. And it's like, wow, you didn't see that guy sitting there? So those two plays, really, those two interceptions really did affect this game in that way. It makes you think sometimes, when you're accurate, getting the ball out there, trying to get it to your guys and they're not getting open, it gets frustrating. And then when you get something finally open and you miss the opportunities, it's like you have a very thin margin to mess up. And it seems like when he does, it's in the worst way. And so that really cost the Thunderbirds there in that match.
Something else that's really surprising me, especially from this game, the Steamers have a good defense. It's just that I'm a little surprised at how little Marcus Knight was able to get anything. I feel like they have a good offensive line, and for them to not be able to get him going in the slightest, that was just a little strange to me.
You feel like you said the Thunderbirds?
Yeah, they've added a lot of young, youthful linemen that you drafted for them that made me angry over the last couple of years.
Some youthful linemen, but they're definitely not a good. Great bunch, I'd say. That's actually the biggest knock on Thunderbird is the line and the receivers. If they could get that fixed, they're good. But yeah, That's
We've
especially with
seen
Steelers
that
defense.
team handle a run game with a heck of a lot worse line in the past. That line is better than it was in the past, is what I'm
it's
saying.
better,
When they actually had a run game with lesser running backs, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but again, how many times
not
playing,
Lester, like not before what's his name? Lester who was there just
talking
last
about
time? That was
Rashawn Overstreet?
I'm talking about when they had all like
Cornell
that
Mickens.
guy, and then they had some. I don't even remember the dude's name that they had actually playing well.
They had better linemen then, though. A lot of their linemen did fall off, and they had to draft.
I love the youth linemen, man.
Yeah, that's
they
good.
got a youth.
They're going to have a good line in the future. I
just thought Marcus Knight would be a bigger factor for this team. That's all I'm saying.
I think he is. I truly do think it, because the other games this guy gets off, the line does as good as it can. But again, I think the key factor is the fact that it's the Steelers, bro. These guys got Deshaun Richardson. Let's not forget about the other defensive tackle, Jakari Nathan.
Makes me so angry.
And they've got Diego Lizarraga and a beast linebacker core with Taylor Mays and Bob Stevens. Like, this defense is actually good, bro. They're like, it's a shame that they didn't make it to the Reload Bowl last year. They were right there, and then the T-Birds derailed them. So they got their vengeance. But yo, this Steelers
that's another guy, Smitty, that I don't think you're even utilizing on that. I gotta look at this.
On the D-line? And Jared Smith.
Yeah.
And Jared Smith is
bro.
on it. Bro, they're all snapping right now.
Do you have wait, hold on. Do you have him in?
Yeah, he's got like 3 or 4 sacks in the last 2 games.
Yeah, because that's the guy that was the guy that like was getting like all of the wreck because of the whole team. Like the way he was scheming that guy in there.
Yeah.
That guy was getting
now he's a
crazy,
full-time edge rusher, and that's just how Jones used him too. And boy, he even got an upgrade before the game. Guy's a beast. So your entire D-line is elite. Your linebacker core is youthful and elite. Your cornerbacks out there, they're developing. You know, Caden Blair is definitely the best one they got out there. But they got good quarterbacks. Here. They got good safeties. Mainly the safety with Mansour Chappelle. But also, you know, they just drafted Rodney Goins, and I think even with him just being a user and upgraded, the Steamers are a Reload Bowl ready team, I think. Bar injuries, this team is looking elite. And so I'm looking forward to see what they do. But that is it for the recap, guys. Let's go ahead and actually get a look. I didn't show this, I don't think, last week. Let's get a look at the weekly players of the week. So who got the
Weekly Players of the Week.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm saying bad things here. I don't know what's going on.
The annual Players of the Week.
Weekly Players of the Week.
The annual Weekly Players of the Week's games.
I don't know what it is. Sometimes I want to use big words and it don't make sense. But for the ARC, the Orlando Sentinels linebacker, is that Garif? Yeah. Garif Thomas. This guy's been a beast for a little bit. Is it Garif? Yeah, I think it's Garif.
Is it Garif? Oh.
Yeah, Garif Thomas. 5 tackles, an interception, pass deflection, and a touchdown. So beast mode right there. Kyle Bain taking home. Did he win this twice? No, this is first time. Okay, yeah. And you could get all this access by checking out the RFL Neon Sports. And then Kyle Bain, 21 of 28, so 75%, 469 passing yards. This is a dual threat quarterback. 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions. 6 runs for 43 yards. So he wins the Offensive Player of the Week for the ARC. In the NRC, Brock Frederick, man, shout out to our community member, user player right there. Brock getting 6 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 pass deflections, and 2 forced fumbles. That's a huge game right there by the rookie. And then for Offensive Player of the Week, that goes out to Mexico City. Lane Kearney was 35 of 45. For 370, 3 touchdowns, and 2 rush attempts for 16 yards against the Pioneers. So, man, great performances by those guys. Of course, deserve to be mentioned. We're going to go ahead and go to our next segment here and get a look. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Our next segment is just talking about more big news going on around the league. And I want to start and plug our guy here. As you guys know him, his name is Chosen. But if you want to keep up with some news going on around the RFL, follow at RFL Focus. This guy's been posting up everything as soon as he gets word of it, you know, behind the scenes stuff even. We'll talk more about that. But let's talk about the biggest, news that's going on right now and the big signings. So here we go. Of course, So Bill gonna have to worry about this next year. But Marquise Washington has officially become the biggest, officially has the biggest contract in RFL history, earning 360 mil over 6 years in his contract. And you can see that, of course, all here as Chosen says, breaking Desperado star, of course, officially agreed to a 6-year, $360 million contract. Sources say Dallas star gunslinger isn't going anywhere soon. That's a huge lock. That is a huge lock. But the Desperados, even with that money spent, have so much bread. It was almost a lock that they were going to get this guy. But it was a matter of if he wanted to still play there, and he did. What's your thoughts on Marquise Washington landing the biggest contract in RFL history?
None. I don't care.
Oh man,
what matter with you, man? It's $360 million on this guy. No, he's killing the QB market, man. Yeah. He's absolutely killing the QB market.
It's going to be so inflated in a couple of seasons.
Yeah, man, this is nuts. We got to do something about this. I'm over it.
I mean, I get it though.
We can't keep QBs. It's like, look, guys, this is my take on this. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. Look, teams can't keep QBs because QBs are too expensive. So, like, how can you even develop? I want a Tom Brady, a Brett Favre, a Troy Aikman. You understand? I can't have him because every 3 years I got to get rid of the guy. Like, I'm even basing this down. If McCall gets to 90, we've talked about this. You know what I mean? He's too expensive. So I've lost 2 quarterbacks who were beasts in college, right? And I can't keep them because of the cap. So I'm over it, man. I'm over this 360. I hate it. We need to meet as a group, as a collective staff, and we need to do some kind of curve or increase the cap so guys can keep these players, man.
Increase eventually, but I'll say crazy. This, I don't think there's an issue with that because you could say it is because of the players, but how many of these quarterbacks are actually in the league? Let's be real.
We already have 2. Yeah, we're going to have 3.
3 is going to be Daryl Johnson, but who else other than those 3 players are getting this type of money, are going to ask for this type of money?
Once the rest of these quarterbacks get up there and they get to that point, yeah, but all of this is okay. But see, this is why that argument cannot be used very well because every quarterback in the history of the RFL up until like 2 years ago was 48 years old. Okay, every single quarterback on a team was closer to shuffleboard than they were to a Super Bowl. Okay, like it's not that out of pocket to say that it's out of hand now because they were all on the old contracts. They were already extended when there was no salary cap or even, cap tracked in the league. So now that we're actually tracking this stuff, these guys are starting to come in. Now they're 23, 24 years old when their contract is due for their rookie contract. And now they're asking because, well, they come in really good. They have a high development trait. They play well. They get developed. And now they're a 90-something overall. Every one of these guys is going to be asking for $360 million. So, no, it might not be a league-wide problem right now, but this is going to be every single quarterback that's above an 85 in the league. And how this league works, that's going to be probably about 20 to 25 teams in the next 5 years.
Man, for $360 million, that's what he's asking for right now as a 94 overall quarterback. He got there because he was a part of the inflation era, right? He came in as an 84 overall with Geno Gannon coming in as an 83. There has not been any quarterbacks anymore since, other than Daryl Johnson. He came in as 78. Daryl Johnson will not ask for this amount of money. He won't reach that rating by that point. Will he be expensive? Yes. But I'm saying overall, you're not going to see many contracts at all reach this even after they do their rookie contract. Because guys are going to reach either an 88, maybe, and that's where Daryl Johnson's at right now, and you can sign him after this season.
So he asked for 300 instead of 360. It's still going to break a team.
I'm just saying, man, it's not many quarterbacks, though, are going to be requiring or getting that type of money. And so, yeah, they set the market, but how many quarterbacks in general are really going to ask for this? It's not going to be many. Like, it ups the money, but guys definitely can re-sign their quarterbacks, though, especially since the cap is going to go up because the NFL cap is going to expand past our 270, so we'll raise that. So whatever the NFL does after that, that's what we take. But I don't see it being too crazy of a problem.
I think it's only $5 million, though, is it?
It'll probably be like a
But this
75,
is
but after
also
that, it's like
this is the
15
other
million.
part
We're
of
looking
that,
at
though.
300.
This is the other part of that, though. This is what he's asking for in 2025. We don't know what the cap's going to be or what the market price is going to be for this same quarterback, maybe a couple overall less, in 2 to 3 years.
But there's more
That's
money,
not
though.
to mean it's going to stay at 360. It does, because this same contract was unheard of when I first joined the RFL. When I first joined the RFL, if you were re-signing a high-end player like this, it was
180.
crazy to see a guy get 150 million. Now, only 4 years later, we're up to 360 million because the game refreshes every year to see what the market standard is. We just had a quarterback who made $80 million in 1 year. My former favorite team's quarterback, Kirk Cousins. You think he's going to be the last one to get that? No way. Which means that eventually 2026, 2027 Madden is going to update the game to make these players ask for these type of contracts, because that is what is standard in the league. Then we're going to sim into the future, which is going to inflate it even more. And then it's going to be a problem.
Well, the thing is, it gets set based off of, again, what the league has at that point. And if the money's increasing, then to be able to afford those guys, I can understand the frustration of some guys having a great quarterback and that happens. But that's where you just got 4 years to prepare to try to make the space for him, because if you don't, another team will. That's just what happens, and it's still not going to be too many quarterbacks, in my opinion, that are going to be anywhere near what Marquise Washington and Geno Gannon is, because we got, again, to remember, this is a 94 and a 96 overall quarterback. This is almost the highest ratings you can have at the position, and that's what they're asking for. I don't see other guys that are lower, like not even touching 90, asking for that much. It'll be affordable, I think, at that point. If you make the case.
My worry is in 2 to 3 years, though, that much is what the 88s are asking for. That's my concern, because we're going to see an inflation. Nobody gets paid cheaper than the last guy. That's why people hold out in contract negotiations.
Well,
they hold out because they want to wait
for
the next guy to. That's not possible with Madden, though. They don't have personality enough.
They go off of if the guy is at 80 something overall, like, he's not going to get paid. I promise you, he will not want to get that much money. He won't even get offered that. Like, it will be somewhere.
But if he's only an 80 overall 4 or 5 years in his career, he's getting replaced in the RFL.
Nah.
Because
if
a
you can't
top
afford
quarterback
mid
coming
to
at 70. No, not because of the affordability. It's going to be because if you're 4 years into your career in the RFL and you're only an 80 overall, I'm going to draft a 78 overall that's a rookie, and then I'm going to develop it, and he's going to be better than you by next season. Because that means it's telling me that you're not developing properly, and I'm not going to mess with that.
I don't think, I think when a guy gets to like an 85, that's
85. Once they get to 85,
83,
they're still going to be asking for a lot of money.
So, Smitty, real quick, man.
I don't see it. We just have to agree to disagree on that.
What are the chances, though? And we talked about this many years ago, and I know how it is. We say no. But what are the chances that do you think that if this does get out of hand and we start getting 80 overalls asking for 200 million, that we decide that we just go with our own salary cap?
I mean, we could do that, but I just really do not feel like that's going to be the case. I really don't. I think that we got these 3 main guys, and 2 of them came from the inflationary. The other one, I still even feel like DJ is going to be affordable, but it's just that with Bill's team and what he's got, he's just got to make the space.
You pay it then.
But that's what it is when you have a good team. And of course it's tough things to deal with. But if you talk again, look what the Desperados were able to do. They had the money, and they're going to be able to afford him and more good players. It's about what you got to sacrifice to keep the guy on the team. It shouldn't be easy to keep a guy like that on your team to begin with, unless you make the sacrifice to get this guy to stay on the team to have that money. Then you go from there. So, I mean, to me, I think it just is what it is. That's regular football standards. Good teams should not be able to have enough money to just sign guys like that back. That's the reason why they're on different teams.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, like, it sort of just continues the trend. Either you have I shouldn't say bad team. I don't mean bad team. You have a subpar to above average team with a great quarterback, or you have a great team with a bad quarterback, because you can't afford both. And I don't like how we're seeing this right now. That contract with our current cap, that guy right there is 25% of their entire salary cap of a 53-man roster. he is eating up 20 to 25% of that money himself.
That's what he is, though.
That's crazy.
But you're not going to. This is not something I see being a regular thing. Like, let's talk about Kai Cash, even, for example, right? Kai Cash is affordable for the Tigers, and he's almost an 85. His contract year is coming up. He can get signed. A great young quarterback can still get signed back with the Tigers. That is around the same overall that you guys are saying. That's where most good quarterbacks who've done good their rookie seasons are going to be, based off of
that's
the
going to be a
inflation
big where we see his contract when his comes up.
Yeah, so I feel like that right there, I know that's going to be affordable for them. But at the same time, that's what happens. Like, the Tigers have the money to be able to do that. They don't have that great. They have a good team. So you can still have a good team and keep a good quarterback. But to have a great team, it's going to be difficult to have a great team and be able to afford a quarterback like a Geno Gannon or Marquise Washington. That's all I'm saying. I think that's just regular stuff. That's just what happens. That should be the case. That's just my opinion.
I don't think it's going to be as high as I think it's going to be, and I also don't think it's going to be as low as you say it's going to be. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle, and it's just going to be whether or not it ends up being, relative enough for us to handle. So.
Yeah, we'll check it out when it comes around that time, though. Definitely keep an eye on it, and we'll see what we have to do, as it goes on. But one thing I just want to put out there that I really just don't want to have happen is where it's just because we're compensating for a quarterback to stay on the team, now everyone's affordable to keep on the team, and that shouldn't be the case. If
I agree with that.
Yeah. So, I guess, we talked about that, and pretty much, I'm going to play the bell right here for Chosen, because he already knows what he's getting this bell for. Guy said 180 mil, 5 years. And shout out to ESG, man, get re-signed to the Thunderbirds. 5 years, man. He's staying with the squad. But it was 108 million.
You called him ESG.
I did. Now I got
I guess he's getting his G's.
Maybe I'm talking about that new game that's coming out. I don't know. Y'all heard about that ESG?
ESG.
Yeah. So they had a reply. Oh, I thought they had something on it. Yeah. Because I think he fixed himself. There you go. Sacramento. Coach Dunn had to come in here. He said 180 or 108. He said 108. Yeah. Misread the amount. My bad.
Right. Well,
yeah.
No, but what got me was all the guys that was thumbing it up. Woo, yay! Yeah. And I'm like, man, y'all don't read anything, do y'all?
Yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah, Eric Straughter, man, came a long way. This is a guy at first, he was a little bit disgruntled. And this is what I try to tell guys, the league was growing. It's still growing. You're not going to have, an RFL, now it's starting to grow. But if you were the early RFL player, you didn't have many people in the locker room to talk with. You always wanted to be with your boys and stuff like that. And, there was a point where Eric was just like, man, I don't know if I want to be here. I want to coach. I want this and this. I was just like, hey, man, just wait, give it time. Wait till you see, you still got years to go. Players are going to be in the locker room. And, man, he's done a great job building that locker room. He's got his own little locker room server with Thunderbirds going there and they chat. And, he got it all organized nice. And so, like, that whole culture getting built by him, being one of those early guys. I mean, the Thunderbirds, it just fits this guy, man. Like, he's a part of that brand officially. What's your thoughts on, Eric Straughter? I mean, probably not too much to say, of course, but congratulations. But, what do you think about him re-signing with his team, the draft?
As much I hate that he re-signed. Yeah, I asked Eric in our 4-hour debate, man, over some things, if he wanted to stay with the Thunderbirds, and he broke my heart because I thought that I had a chance to get Eric. You know what I mean? Thought I had a chance to bring him to the Cougars and be legendary. But I love his loyalty. That's one thing I'm gonna say about Eric, man. I've known Eric for a few years now, since he's been in the RFL. Doesn't change, stays the same, man. You know what I mean? He's kind of like Chrome. Chrome is one of my heroes here. ESJ is one of my heroes here, man. These are great guys, great to talk to. And so I got to give ESJ, man, all the love, all the flowers. Definitely an OG here. And I'm just happy that he's on his team, man. I mean, I can't imagine the Thunderbirds without ESJ, man. Like, come on, man. It's not possible. As much as we all dream of having number 13, man, it's not going to happen, right? So I give him his flowers, man. I'm happy for him. But he knows when we come to town, it's all business. It's all business, ESJ. Yeah.
Bill looks like he's about to go off.
No, this might be a dumb question, but I gotta ask it. When were corners allowed to wear teens?
Oh yeah, Shout out, I guess. I don't like it, but shout out to Eric for making it a thing.
So why can't we let him have the single digits then?
I don't do single. I didn't even want to do
Why? If you're gonna do 13, you might as well allow one.
Tell me other team members for one. If
I am coming around to this, you should be too.
Oh no,
I'm old.
Hey, yeah, exactly. You should be agreeing with me.
I'm actually on the other side.
Yeah,
I'm on the other side of this one. You are being an old head.
Nah.
You're old.
Nah,
You're
man.
old. Yeah.
Hey, I cannot stomach seeing a cornerback wearing a number 6 or 2 out there like they're a receiver.
Oh, but 13's fine. Yeah, let's march out there with number 19. We look cool.
You can
Johnny
ask
Unitas
Eric
looking
right now. What is you can even
I almost
ask
swore.
Eric right
I almost
now,
swore,
man.
but I stopped.
You can ask Eric right
Johnny
now
Unitas.
how much of a debate.
I almost said the A word, but then I had to stop myself.
But Eric could tell you, man, it was not easy doing
who's
that.
13?
But then I was just like,
is that,
you know what?
Is that Andrew Luck?
Slide.
Who's the quarterback with 13 in the league, man?
Well, Andrew Luck ain't in the league no more. He's been going. I think
Andrew
Luck.
No, I'm just asking, like, who he was 12. Who were they any 13? Because that looks like a quarterback number to me.
Yeah, that's why I don't like it, bro. Like, literally, there's only like 3 numbers probably out of the teams that are good. You know, and I was just, I really didn't want to do this. But then I was just like, I don't know why I even caved. But I told him, I was like, yo, y'all not getting nothing else from me because I'm not about to mess up my number system with this league, bro. I am not going to see a cornerback wearing number 5 out there, wearing number 8, wearing number 2. That is trash. What do y'all think y'all are? Y'all receivers? No. Receivers get the love, man. It is what it is. They the playmakers. They get to get the single digits. They get to get, you know what I mean? They
That's
get
crazy.
that treatment.
I didn't even think about trying to go after him because I don't think he would ever come over and play with the Explorers. So I figured that was never going to happen.
I was scheming on ESJ for quite some time, Bill, but it didn't happen. Even I tried to find a way, to figure it all out, man. But there's no way I could possibly get that guy, man. So yeah, it's over.
But yeah, Eric.
I'm gonna put every one of my corners in a team's jersey until you allow the single digit jersey. I'm gonna make every corner look absolutely hideous until you let it happen.
Don't do that, please.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
I should have never made that a thing, but y'all know me. If I put something in, then like officially to the community like that, I gotta stick with it. But man, I hate it.
The receivers have that ability, right?
Yeah,
switching all my DBs.
If receivers have that ability, the corners should have that ability.
They're 2 different positions. Let's keep that separation. That's what makes it pro-like. But anyway, moving on, we talked about Geno Gannon getting his contract. Same amount of years, almost the same amount of money, but Marquise Washington, $2 more million than Geno Gannon. And Geno Gannon is a 96 overall quarterback and a year younger. What's your thoughts on him getting re-signed with the Black Knights? I know we already talked about it. You can see how Rob feels about that, man. But he's already changing the culture there in London. What's your thoughts on Geno Gannon, man, being a long-term Black Knight now? And that's our response there from Bix.
All right.
Yeah. We'll move right on down to Bill.
Congrats, man. Like it is what it is. You guys know my feelings on these big contracts. It's bound to happen. It's just the one thing, like, I understand the whole team balancing thing. I get it. I do. But, like, it just sucks to see these quarterbacks, that teams work so hard to get, have to leave and go elsewhere because that coach did a good job with the rest of the team. That's, I think, why it bothers me so much. Like, if this comes to terms with me with DJ, which I don't think it will, because I 2 years ahead, I'm trying to plan for this. But like, if it came to the point where I had to let go of my quarterback because I did a good job and built a good team, and now I have to pay all my players because that's how it works, I have to get rid of my quarterback. That's crazy. That's why I don't like it, but I get it.
Wait, man, Smitty. Look, man, Pat. Let's put Pat up in the chat, man.
Whoa!
Join Mitch to a trip to NorCal to start week 4. Will Portland prey on the Miners, or will the Snowhogs get the? Whoa! I ain't even gonna say that. Pat, what's going on, man? You ain't proofread this repost?
Pat, it's a Saturday night, man.
Then he gonna put the question marks in the joint. Like,
put the Merlot down, Pat. Put the Merlot down, Pat. It's just Saturday, bro. Put it down,
we
Pat.
You a pass because you're an older guy, Pat. But yeah.
Oh yeah, that's older than us, so we got to give him a pass. Come on, like Pat.
Us, but yeah.
We know it's a pun, guys. Man. We know it's a pun.
The question marks got me weak though, bro.
Wow.
He's like, what did I say? What did I say? He didn't mean nothing by that though. You know it was genuine.
Yeah,
you delete a tour. Why you delete it? We want to go back and read the tour. Come on, man.
Let me just do extra stuff.
Damn, can I unmute this? Man, that's all. I can't even unmute it.
I don't know. We could tell Pat to post it again, I guess. He can't. Yeah.
Yeah, now, okay, it does have the shaft thing in it, so I guess we're going to leave that alone. So, good job, Tor. Good job.
Yeah.
I take it back. But
good job, Tor. Good job.
Yeah, we're going to move on there. There's a final score from the Dreadnoughts game, and I guess we could talk about this, Bill. Your boy. You had a second-year cornerback out of Georgia.
See how excited he was, Bill?
Jaden Brooks getting traded over to the 3-0 Aviators. What's your thoughts on this trade? Of course, you wanted it to go down. You get a third and a next year's fourth in return for him. He's a 74 overall cornerback, user player. But what's your, the process kind of needs a thought behind this, just be open with it, and Rob, if you got anything to say afterwards, you know what I mean?
So
say it.
I'll be very transparent about this. When we drafted Jalen to come to the team, I made it very apparent right away. We're a good team. We have a very good team. We have people ahead of most rookies. Most rookies do not get to start here. And that's just how we operate because we have a good team. But I was trying to get ahead of the curve and build up a team for, the next 5 to 10 years, which I am still doing and I will still do. It's just, this was part of that process. And, it seemed like it was okay at first, but Jalen was not happy with it. He wanted to start. He wanted playing time. I could not make that happen with my current roster of corners. And it just sort of came to a point where, I was hearing a few things, getting winds of some talks and whatnot. And, it's if somebody isn't happy, then I'd rather take care of it now than instead of it letting it become an issue with, the rest of the team or anything like that. So we made a decision and I talked to him about it. I said, it's your choice. If you want to stay here, that's great. We'll have you. But this is how it's going to be. And if you want to go, I'm not going to hold any grudges against you. I wish you well. It's just, it's not where it's going to be right now. And he chose that he wanted to move. And that's when we talked and I was able to, find a trade partner for him. So happy for him. He's going to get a chance to play a lot sooner than he wanted to. But, it sucks to see a young player leave. I understand that, some people want all the I guess, glory right away. I just was hoping for more vision to be seen, but it is what it is. Everybody's got their own way of wanting to enjoy the league, so I didn't want to stand in the way of that.
Yeah, whatever, Bill.
What?
Whatever, man.
I reached out to Bill about Jalen Brooks a couple of weeks ago, man, and he's like, "Oh, well, I didn't plan on trading him," and then he just dot stuff on me, man. I was like, "Oh, man, I'm gonna end up
told you this too. I told you
guy.
that. I told you that. Like when you started reaching out, because I had never put a feeler out there anywhere that I was going to trade him ever. And then now that you just randomly show up and just start asking about him, that had me wondering. And then I, started hearing some things and
whatever,
things,
Bill. Whatever,
and heard some more things, and I'm like, this can't keep going on the way it is.
Yeah.
So I decided to act.
If I'd had Jalen Brooks in the game in week 3, McCann wouldn't have been.
Hold on. You can't come in here and accuse me of something. Now let me come back at you here, buddy. Because then I go ahead and I did respond with, I wasn't planning to. And what did you do? What did you do, Rob? What did you do?
How the way you said it,
you did
I was
nothing.
like, I don't.
That's what you did. You did nothing. You didn't even respond to me. So you don't even know if I would have traded him to you because you didn't ask.
No, but the way you said it, Bill, it's like, yo, I'm about to get running around the ringer here, man. Next thing you know, he gonna have all 3 of my first for
I'm not gonna
Brooks.
Be like,
so I had to back off. If
you ask me for a trade, I'm not gonna come out and be like, yes, please take my players. Like,
Yeah. No. Look, I wanted Jalen Brooks, man. I just made a comment, man. If he'd been in the game week 3, we might have won that. But instead we had another guy in there. So I wanted him, man, but I wasn't aggressive enough. This is just what happens in the RFL, man. If you're not aggressive, I was telling Reed this many years ago. You got to be aggressive, man. You got to be on it because at any moment, players walk. Which Bill, make sure you look in the DM for my trade that I want the trade. You know the trade. So anyway, but very good move, man. All good. Yeah, salute to you, Jalen, man. You almost were a Cougar, but you've really been 0-3.
All right, so that's a big move for a user there. And before we get into this statement here by CP and your team, Rob, of course, we got to talk about what led to that. I do also want to announce right now, Ramos has stepped down as head coach of the Monarchs. He has chosen now to just take over as his player who was on the Chicago Cougars. I won't get into details about the reason why. It's just he couldn't keep on. So, shout out to Ramos for his time in the RFL as a head coach. And this is the main thing we wanted to talk about here. Darnell Hodge. This is crazy. So let's timeline it. So you'll go into more details, of course, about the process that led to this. But
the stream is kind of glitchy, man. I don't know if it can handle what I got to say. Man. I'm going to just kind of keep.
Yeah. So what happened is after the Cougars game,
I was trying to talk through it when it does happen, but I don't know if my voice gets picked up or not.
Okay. Most of it's been picked. It's been a couple frees, but it's still doing a little bit better than before. I'll try to see about getting that fixed. But Darnell Hodge, after the loss, of course, disgruntled, did not talk with you first, and we see our analysts in RFL Focus Chosen post this post right here on the X page. It says, running back Darnell Hodge is requesting a trade. Sources say the former Miami Hurricane begins his search for a new home. Now, of course, we're going to get more into some rule stuff, and so we could clear the air that some of these guys got. And, of course, we're also going to talk about that whole 6-hour debate into more detail about why we had it and, of course, why this solidifies why we have rules in place. But go ahead, man. Talk about this whole situation, and then you got to get through all that to talk about it. So I'll just pick up and join in the conversation with you along with Bill. But go ahead.
All right. First of all, for all of you people who don't know or not in the know, and you have your pom-poms out because you love this kind of news when teams, get, what as Pat likes to say, cold. The front office has officially made it to where players have to serve 2 contracts with their team before having the freedom to leave wherever they want. This can be detrimental for teams that have drafted these players for the future and to turn around and have a guy leave for no legitimate reasons. There will be some scenarios based off league discretion. Some players, if not utilized properly, will be able to leave after their first contract. The max contract you may have to stay with the team is 9 years. And a minimum of 5. So hopefully all of you understand how that is. I am absolutely, is it befuddled, baffled by this entire situation. Many of you know that I was a champion for players. I've spoken up for players behind the scenes with Smitty. We've argued many times. Shouting matches, right?
Great battles.
Because I thought that players like you listening right now, you should be able to move when you want to move. Smitty has battled me back, and he's right. He said that these guys are not mature enough to move, and these guys are going to be acting like the NBA team, stacking
and real
teams.
Quick to hit on that, it's not really maturity. It says understanding business, and I want to put this out there in the public so other people know this. The way business works. A lot of people can say that, hey, I'm league first, I'm this, I'm that. The thing is, you are still a fan and a viewer. You care more about your involvement in the league and what you can get out of it. Now, I know we got some diehard people that are for the league that say that, I'm league first, I'm this. But at the end of the day, the customer always wants what they could get out of it more in general than the product. And that's why I say I made this a rule, because I rather have that option be taken away from the customer than to damage my product from teams getting hurt from situations like this. Again, not saying that there's some people who would follow this in a genuine manner, but most guys naturally will not. And so I don't want my teams getting damaged by this. I don't want my coaches to have to deal with stuff like this, because at the end of the day, and this is not to take it in that fashion, but the reason why I brought it up is I want it to feel like real football, but you got to understand that it is still not physical real football, to the point where the request that you would make is not what a realistic person in or player in that position would do. And so Rob's going to go ahead into it more, but I just wanted to let y'all know the reason why I always stood on that, and why I would never bend, and why I'm not bending on the rule. And this has been a great example to prove of.
I just want to negate a couple of things. There's no issues in my locker room. Guys are not arguing. You know what I'm saying? I mentioned this on Dunn's podcast. There was really no issue at all to where I thought that to the level that I thought the trade should be, that Hodge should be traded. That's absolutely crazy to do. You know, I was never, this was not discussed with me. I do have to give the belt to my boy Chosen real quick. You know, I know you just promoted him, but I'm gonna give you a belt, brother. You ready? Here's your first RFL
I think it's
belt.
too loud for the mic to pick up.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, but that's your first belt.
We all
From
know
Mix,
what that
because
sounds like when you get in trouble with your mom.
you
think
need
your
to
mic's
make sure
muted,
that
Bill.
you need to make sure that you you know, talk to the coaches when doing this stuff, because players will tell you anything. And you made a sweet graphic. I love him flexing like that. I need him to flex in a run game, though. That's what I need him to do. Yeah. So you know, he goes to you, he runs to you, and look, this is not about Darius Hodge and his personal issue in real life right now. This is about the player, my storyline, Darnell Hodge, the halfback. So please don't get us confused and think I'm beating up on him right now. But I'm being serious. Guys, you guys respond to negativity so much. 30, 40, 50 reactions to him saying he wants a trade after our 0-3 start. Now, to get into that, he's very much a part of the league, the Cougars, you know, team, the financing, the talking of voting, the trades. He's very much a part of that. The moves. He was a part of the OC. He was a part of all of it. I have, you know, a record of him liking what the OC Josh put into place more than anybody else, reacting, responding to it, saying he liked this and that and the third. And so it was a slap in the face to me, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, when I saw this news after our third loss, we already lost, you know, and then, you know, I see the news and I'm like, well, what's the world's going on? And then what I found out was, no, it wasn't really about me. You know, it was more so about the game plan, the fact that he wants to have more power as far as, you know, coaching, offensive coordinating, or whatever it is. You know, he wants me to take it more serious. And so that's the kind of stuff that, you know, this is just to the younger players and the younger people. You need to be able to talk to your coach about, or talk to Smitty about. If you want to be a GM, head offensive coordinator, head coach, you need to talk to the Smitty about that, right? But you can't expect yourself to come into a team that's been ran by an owner and dictate what that owner does, and then be mad because it's not going your way. I'm not going to throw them all the way under the bus today, because there's a lot going on, you know, extra stuff that I just don't want to feel like going. And then the stream is all crazy. I could talk all night about this, but I'm just being honest with you guys. Like, this was absolutely just, you know, in my opinion, just wrong. You know, I spent a lot, you know, getting players like CP, Huncho, you know, Rex, all these guys, even Hodge, right? He wasn't supposed to be a Cougar. You know what I mean? We moved up, you know, we landed him. So, like, guys, like, it's disappointing, man. You know, and I mentioned a lot of it on Dunn's podcast, but like, you can't be in your locker room and not being real. Like, in my locker room, I ask them opinions, and I want them to be 100% with me. And in my opinion, he wasn't 100% with me. He actually, in fact, was lying about that he liked, you know, the game plan of the OC. He was working with the OC, you could say, on the Twitch, you know, reading things. He was even overstepping his boundaries at times with me in support of the OC and the decisions that the OC was making in voice calls, right? And then he goes and he says he doesn't like the system that the OC put into place. And so that's just wrong to me. And so, yeah, I'm throwing it out there because it's just wrong. Because whenever, you know, I noticed something, man. Whenever I do something wrong, you know what I mean, or whatever, bro, people just go crazy. You know what I'm saying? I say something, people go crazy on me, bro. But when you guys do things wrong, everybody's like, "Oh, it'll be okay, man. Pat on the back. Don't worry, bro. It'll be all right." You know what I'm saying? So I had a lot more I wanted to say on this, man. But given the day, the situation, the stream, and I'm kind of drained at this point, man. You know what I'm saying? Just mentally with a lot of things. I got to get back to work with my team. So I'm not gonna really go into this, man. But I just want y'all to know that he's wrong. There's no way around it. And if you want to challenge me, come to my DM and I'll show you where he's wrong. I've got the receipts, and it's not what you think it is. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
I'm supposed to follow that up.
I don't know, man. What's his thoughts on what he said? I guess.
I'm just gonna sort of summarize what you both said there. I think that one portion of the contract stuff and everything that wasn't really talked about is actually sort of my situation just now with Jalen. That doesn't mean that you are stuck with a team for 9 years. It means that you are prevented from just deciding on a whim that you want to put a different color jersey on because maybe you like that color better. Maybe your friend got drafted to that team. I don't know. Maybe the girl you're talking to decides that she likes that logo instead of that one better. I don't know. But the point is, you can't just decide that without somebody else saying it's okay. And now a coach, like what I did, can talk with you, can figure out like, okay, what can I react to with this? Is there a way for me to recover from this? And if I can, and if a coach decides that they want to and they're okay with it, with what they can get back for it, that doesn't mean you're going to be there forever. It just means that you can't decide to just leave. And it's there for a reason. And I was in the same wavelength as Rob was, and I was going against Smitty on it how many times, and now I get it. I get it. So that's all I can really add. I mean, you guys summed up the rest.
I see this question by Frankie, and I don't want to get into this with you, Frankie. I'm not being any kind of way, but your question is, since Darnell doesn't want to play for the Cougars, can the coach force the player to still play snaps? He has no control over the player.
Yeah.
You guys got to understand, this is not real life. It's a video game. You see?
And if you're trying to be in a real life environment, that is not going to happen. This situation, if it was real life, would not happen most likely in this manner. Like,
well, if they did, they would get fined out the wazoo until they either got back on the field or something, or they ran out of money. So
and that's the part where we want it to be as realistic as possible. But at the end of the day, you guys aren't getting paid your player's salary. You guys aren't going to that training camp doing what a real football player would do. Like, we just want to give you that experience outside because, to some people, that's very important. Some people wish they could play football at what seems like a pro level. And this is the best way you get to do it, with you hear your name called, being a part of a locker room, being a part of a team, whatever it is. This is the best way to do it. But you can't just try to say, oh, we want this to be real, so I should be able to have freedom. No, it's all about the brand first. It's all about the RFL first. And the first thing that's a part of that brand is the teams. And so we protect the teams first before we worry about what the players are doing. Because the minute you start giving the customers full reign off of what you should do, that part of the brand of what the of the brand that you have your own integrity on how you want it ran will get overthrown just to satisfy people, and you start to lose the identity of your brand. That is my whole thing as to why this has been a factor. And I knew, which is why I never broke on it, that stuff like this would happen. It happened in the past before thing became a rule, and it's happened now when it has. And what's his name said, like Chrome said earlier today, he was one of the early players to do it. He went into free agency, went on the Bulldogs, and look what they've done. They won a Reload Bowl with him. And had that rule been in place, how would he have just gotten off the Huskies like that? That guy was on the Huskies. You know how much better the Huskies would have been if they'd been able to keep their key linebacker, but they couldn't keep it because he decided he wanted to go somewhere else for no legitimate reason? Just because he wanted to leave? That was in the past.
This is something that I piggyback off that, and something that I mentioned on Dunn's channel. And I want to address this because I know who said this a few years ago, and it was absolute poison when it happened. And people got mad at me in the RFL reactions because I responded to this person, and I'm not going to say his name, but he said that it's the new era and forget all that old stuff. No one cares about that. It's just about the new era. And that's when the new era became very popular. And some of you may know who this person is. He's no longer part of the league. I'll just leave it at that. But he said that. And that right there, I thought was very toxic and poisonous. And then people said, oh, he's freedom of speech. He could say what he wants. Oh, Mitch doesn't like the new guys. No, it's that you guys have a short memory about what happened and how this league was developed. And you don't remember all the pieces that were traded, all the pieces that were signed, fired, money that was negotiated to get your player, to get who you are. So, like, you can't just say, I want to just do something and think that it's going to be okay. Like, I'm being honest with you. We've mentioned this. Hodge is probably going to be one of the best backs in the league in the future. He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer, right? So you think that me just signing this guy, I could just get rid of him because of a spat or because he doesn't like, something I did. It's just that can't happen that way at all.
And
it's
honestly,
not gonna happen
bro,
that way.
and I like that this is a new guy in the community, and I can already tell he's shaping up to be a great guy because he's understanding the vision of the league, and he's joining the RFL College Series. But Joshua Prince saying it makes no sense for real, because how are teams like the Bisons, you could throw the Pioneers and other teams like that, ever going to grow?
Yeah.
If you got dudes that are just like, I don't like this team because we're losing, and that's happening, how are the teams that are at the bottom ever going to get to a level where they can compete if this is allowed? This is the exact reason as to why things like this are in place. And that is protecting the brand. That's protecting the team. And, again, we want guys to get the enjoyment out the league, but that is a real statement. And that's someone who understands that's putting the league first, and have fun with whatever situation you can. I understand losing is not something that, guys want to do. But if there's a plan in place, if there's if this team is trying to work to build and they're just not there, then that's going to take time. Another thing too is you got to understand guys don't really look at a whole situation. I got guys who usually come around and they say like, oh, I'm ready to get out of here. We just ain't been able to win nothing. And then come to find out you're in a division with some of the top teams in the league. And you expected that, oh, we're going to make the playoff. We should be winning this. No. I'm not saying you can't. It's a possibility. But if it doesn't happen, that doesn't mean that your team, for one, was just trash that year. Sometimes it's just a tough schedule and you guys still have development to do. And that's why, when we got into that thing, we were talking in the VCs and guys were saying, man, I'm not trying to stay 9 years. I'm like, look, the thing is, if the coach or the team needs your player because they sacrificed to get your player, they should be able to hold you for that term if needed. Now, does that mean that you're going to serve 9 years? No, because most likely
serve like they're going away.
Yeah, I mean, it's serving though. That's how they feel. They feel like they're serving real terms out here. So I'm going to put it in their terms. So if you feel like you're going to serve 9 years, even with a CPU team, you could talk to me. And the thing is, what is the team going to get out of it? I'm putting the team first before anyone else's satisfaction. And that's just the way that the brand is. And so if I cannot replace you, if I cannot get what the team needs for you, then you have to stay there until there's a solution. Or a solution that team wants to follow through with. Because some guys will say, oh, well, this sounds good. I get out of here this way. No, I still don't want to make that move. The coach still doesn't want to make that move. It's about what the team needs and what they're going to do, because you're a key piece to the growth of that team. And that's just how it is.
And I, Q, I hear what you're saying, because I still feel this way, a piece of me, right? But after yesterday, man, I've now changed my perspective on this. He says in real life, teams have to build a good team. If you keep losing and keep getting high picks but no improvement, who wants to keep losing, right? And I understand that, right? But I think that's probably something. I think that's also something that maybe is like the discussion on the second part of the contract, second half of the contract. But definitely within the first 4 years, man. When you're trying to, I just got this back, right? And yeah, we've had two, pretty bad seasons since he's been here. You see, well, actually, this is only his second season.
Yeah.
Because rookie and now year one. Yeah, so like he.
Oh, real quick, Rob, I think it's frozen. Here goes the game.
Hasn't even gotten started for us yet, man. Build around the player. So like.
Oh my God. Why is this doing this now?
I didn't even hear. I wasn't even here the full season, last season.
Hey, can you go back a little bit over what you said, Rob? The thing started freezing.
Oh no, I was just responding to Q's message where I understand where he's coming from. I really do. But the problem is that I was saying that basically that should probably be handled on the second half of the contract. But like the first 4 years, man, 3-4 years, like you should not be demanding trades. Like he just got here. He's only in year one, right? So like, well, rookie year than year one. I wasn't here last year, but I get it. I should have enough time to draft to build around him, which means getting my line secure, which is what I've been trying to do, right? And he's been getting a lot of carries in this system. You know what I'm saying? And as a matter of fact, not only has he been getting carries, he's been lining up at wide receiver heavy. So it's not like we're not putting him in the game. I mean, he's getting the ball, getting more targets than Honcho and KH and Cheese. If we want to be all the way real, he's getting more targets. One week he had 23 carries, and I'm almost positive he had at least 4, 5, 6 targets passing. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, man. I need players got to have some grace with coaches, man. Is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and just to add to that too, for just to give Rob some stats for that, like Darnell Hodges had 56 carries on the season. The highest leader is Corey Leonidas right now with 65, according to Neon Sports. That's within 10 of the leading rusher, like the most rushed running back in the entire league, with all 32 because there's no more split. So I mean, to say that you're not getting enough touches, I mean, what do you want? You know what I mean? Like, what else do you want? We're 3 games in. You have almost 60 carries, which is almost 20 carries a game. Like that's what you're gonna get, no matter where you go.
And to put it back into perspective, though, he was complaining about the system with McCall, right? Not wanting McCall to be benched, right? He didn't like that, but that's not what he told us when we were all agreeing as a unit. He did not say, no one actually said that they didn't want McCall to be benched. As a matter of fact, the only person that even possibly even an inkling of doubt was.
It was who?
But
what'd you say, Rob?
Again, like
the only person who had a doubt, it was who?
Yeah, it was Huncho. He had a little bit of a doubt, and he told me in private he was just questioning and making sure that I was sure that I wanted to do. Him and CP will do that from time to time, hit me up and make sure that this is what we want to do. Because they care that much about the team. They don't want me to make mistakes. But yeah, man. So he was upset about that, but still, like you gotta be open and honest, man. You can't just like not be honest with me, man. And then because I'm honest, they know I'm honest. I guys know, bro. When I talk, I'll tell you the truth, bro. Like I'll spare no feelings. Like that's just me. That's my personality. I've always been like that. I just tell the truth. I say what it is. My grandmother used to say what you mean and mean what you say, bro. And so that's just how I always have been. So yeah, it could be flagrant at times, but it's straightforward. There's none of this beating around the bush people do nowadays in the world, man. Just trying not to hurt people's feelings and trying to they have these thoughts on one side of their brain, but they're saying this with their texting brain, and it's like it's not what they really are, like what they're really feeling, man. It's like a mask everyone puts on, right? I don't have a mask. Like I am who I am, So when guys, I just tell people when you talk to me, just be honest, man. I respect. Like honestly, Hodge could have told me, Mix, you suck at coach. I don't like your move. I'm mad. And I would have respected that more. I would have respected that more than saying, trade me off of this team. I'm just saying, bro. That's I'm gonna stop going off, man. I'm done.
But yeah, and then again, just I said I was going to come back to this response from the team. You talked about, not every locker room is just going to be all sunshines and rainbows and everybody's agreeing with each other. That we're all having a great time. It's going to be, conflict from time to time, just based off of how your team's performing, who's not playing. This is real life stuff that happens. And so, here's a response from CP. As he said, it's been a very hectic 3 weeks for us as of lately, but he assures the team won't, and he puts in quotes, lay down or tuck tails and fold. He shares that the team is closer than ever and will go to war until the clock hits 0 come week 17. Yeah. So, I mean, that in a sense, I know this sparked some controversy. Of course, from the outside looking in, you would think, man, Cougars got some stuff going on. You got a player trying to cover it up. No. But it's like, no, again, this comes from guys just looking from the outside, not having all the information and just making assumptions, and honestly, I've talked to Rob about this. This is just what people do. This is what fans do. They want to understand all that, but not everything in the locker room, not everything personal is going to get shared to the public. So to the outside, this looks bad, but that's what people do.
This thing here, if only people knew the full story. Look, I've just cleaned that up for you, bro. Like, okay, you hit me up and you told me that you didn't like McCall sitting down. You wanted to do the West Coast zone run. And you wanted more say in the offense. That's exactly what you told me was the reason for you saying you wanted to be traded. There is no full story. So I'm just, please don't do this, bro, because there's a lot more to this too that we could tell the full story is what I'm going to say. Yeah. So please don't do this, bro. Like, this is your social spanking, public spanking right now that I've been very lenient on right now, but please don't do that in the chat because there's way more receipts, and this could really implode. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to be quiet now because now I'm getting angry. Don't do that. I'm telling the truth. I don't lie. I don't lie, bro. I tell the truth. And people may not like it. They may not like my truth, but I tell the truth, bro. I don't. There's a word. I don't know if I can. What's it? Oh, I could say this word. It's not a bad word. It's actually a real dictionary word. I don't think it's a curse word.
If you think about it, then not.
No, it's not. It's called pussyfooting.
Yeah, bro.
That's not a curse word
in a sense, but let's just not use it. How about that? Just because
it's not a curse word.
I know it's not, but it's still,
It's not a curse word.
Yeah.
But, I don't beat around the bush and prance around like Prancer. You know what I'm saying? Like, to hide my feelings and stuff like that because I don't want to. I don't tiptoe around things. I just do it. I don't tip around in my crib, tiptoeing, easing everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Looking around the corner, trying to make sure that I'm safe and everything. No, I say what it is. So it's nuts, man.
So I think we've hit everything in terms of the big news. Of course, again, if you want to keep up with some good news going around the RFL, he doesn't really post much on Instagram, which is where we're also at, and we get a lot of stuff. But RFL Focus, this page is ran by our very own analyst, and as you know him in the chat, Chosen. And you can see here RFL Media Insider News reports, all this stuff, storylines of the RFL, and you can see just to scroll down, that's the stuff we went through right here. But he's got a lot more talking about Sharkley. Starting injuries that happen. You got Dunn too. Shout out to Dunn, man. He's definitely been stepping up, trying to get more league information out. He's been potting it up.
Dunn's been doing his
shout
thing,
out to him. Key players making plays like Kai Cash when he had this performance in week 1. Like, look at this. This is the information you want. You want to keep up with some things in the RFL. Go ahead and make sure you follow RFL Focus, man. Doing a great job out there, Alex. Just want to let you know, man. Appreciate everything. And so that's it for that. Let's now go into the top 10 power rankings by Neon Sports this week. So Neon Sports last power ranking, of course, very different than what I would have done and didn't make any sense. But of course, this is going to come together just like how, the top 25 were in the college series go. So this is what Neon Sports has right now off of the top 10 power rankings. And Bill, you wasn't here last time, but it's not fully off of just record, but record is the main thing, so record comes first. So here's what they have. And at number 1 right now in the power rankings in Neon Sports, jumping up 2 spots, it's the Aviators. Desperados at 2. Bulldogs moving down 2 spots. The Hogs are still where they are. The Bulls move up one to number 5, and then the other 5 teams were not ranked the week before. So the Dreadnoughts jump up to 6, Snowhawks 7, Sentinels 8, Monarchs 9, and Huskies at 10.
What is NA?
on-
That's NA?
That says NR. I mean, it's just the font, but they meant not
That's an
ranked.
A.
Yeah.
It says what? It says what?
NR means for not ranked. So they weren't ranked.
Oh, not ranked.
Before. Yeah. It looks like an A, man. It's just the font, but I try to go with the font that matches the numbers.
Yeah,
yeah.
got you.
Probably more visible when it's on social media, but
I thought it meant not really.
Yeah, so of course this is weird, but again, I kind of like this because now it's out of my hands. Now y'all, instead of talking about speaking, how you got to, hey, my list would have been better than this, but hey, this is what
I think we need it back in your hands. I think we need the back of your hands, man. I don't know if I like this new Smitty, man. This guy's like, it's like frappe latte Smitty, man. It's just hands off.
Smith, man.
You know, yeah. You like, it's like hands off. I'm gonna lay back and just let the game decide, man. You know, yeah, Diet Smitty, man. It's nuts, man.
But the Sierra Miss Smitty, you say. But all I'm gonna say is I like that because now I can chime in on it.
I got you.
Yeah, I still feel like the Bulldogs, if you're going to go power rankings, they were number 1 in your power rankings last week. They should have stayed at 1.
Yeah, I don't really like the move down. They don't have a reason to move. But the Aviators have been putting up big numbers, though. So I sort of understand why the Neon Sport Systems did that. And then the Desperados, I would hope, after their last couple of games, put up some pretty good wins against some good teams. So, I get it. I don't hate it.
Yeah. No, man. Look, the only thing I think is I think that Keese and Hall are better than Bain and what's his name? I mean, but this is right on, man. This is spot on, right? You got the teams that need to be up there. I see zero issue with this here. It's different, guys. I know it. It's different. But look, the Thunderbirds are 1 and 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is crazy. Explorers are 1 and 2.
Thanks.
Cougars 0 and 3. Sorry, Bill. I threw myself into the bus too. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So it is what it is, man. It's something new, man. It's something new. So I'm all for it, man. And I see Tor out there. Yeah, Tor, is this your first time on the list? I think this is the first time the Sentinels have been on the power ranking list. Is that true? I think so. So big salute to you guys, man. Sitting at number 8.
Yeah, those are some big wins y'all got, man. So hopefully we'll see if that continues on for you guys, man. Mike could make the playoffs.
Man, hey, nice.
Yeah, I didn't even know it froze. But okay, just wanted to go ahead.
I didn't know if anybody said nothing or not, so I was just like, I'm just gonna
wait. He said in 2 years. Yeah, it says first time. Yeah, so yeah, big. If you didn't hear me, big salute to the Sentinels and Tor. This is the first time in 2 years that he's been on the power rankings list, man. So I know that's an accomplishment for him. He picked up the OC Nick, and they're working on some things, man. So something is paying off for them right now.
Yeah. All right, so that's the top 10 Neon Sports Power Rankings. Those will be posted up on social media, the RFL. And now we move into, I believe, let me check my next segment that I got on here. Yeah, the week 4 standing. I mean, not standings, week 4 schedule. So this is what we have coming up this week. So on Monday, to kick off week 4, it's the Snowhawks versus the Miners. Snowhawks are 2-1 after coming off of 2 straight wins, and the Miners, of course, coming off a tough, embarrassing loss to the Condors. Instead of just saying all the names, we'll just go through each one of them as we go through them. So, who you guys got in the Snowhawk? Well, I'll also do Neon Sports just to bring that up from time to time, so that way we could see the spreads that will be getting posted. There we go. Here, and Snowhawks in Miners game. I have the Snowhawks winning this one by 3 or more points. Who you guys got?
Miners. Going with the Miners.
I'm gonna go Snowhawks. I think they've been good so far, and yeah, Snowhawks.
All right. Next game, Tuesday on our doubleheader. We have the Crusaders and the Steamers going at it. Of course, you guys already know Steamers. Oh, what's going on there? Take that off. The Steamers have been looking really good after, of course, their last 2 wins over powerhouse NRC teams. Who did I say it was? The Steelers? Okay, there it is. Crusaders. All right, so I have the Steamers winning by more than a touchdown, so 8 or more points. What do you guys think?
Steamers.
Yeah, I'll take that.
All right. All right. Next up, Desperados versus Hogs at 9 p.m. Eastern. Oh, yeah, to also make this announcement, Rob will be moving his games from 7 p.m. Eastern to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, since that time works best for him. So those games now will be getting pushed back just a half an hour earlier. And so for 9 p.m. Eastern later on Tuesday, later, the Desperados and the Hogs, what I have for them is I have the Desperados winning by 5 or more points.
Belt switch, man. Belt switch is here now, Ronnie. It's been cute. It's been cute, man. It's been cute, man. But now you get the belt and the switch, boy. So, I'm going Rados, man.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm gonna have to go with the Desperados. I can't believe I'm choosing them as
Yeah, I remember you had a grudge against them for when they had those seasons better than what they should have.
Because they were fraudulent.
Yeah. Said not this year, man. I'll give them some love. All right, so that's the Tuesday games. Now we get into our premier games, and our first premier game that's going to be paired up with another at 4 p.m. Eastern. We have the Aviators and the Bulldogs, 2 undefeated teams right now. Now we get to see how real Kyle Bain and the Aviators really are. Let's look at the spreads I have. And I have the Aviators taking their first loss of the season by just 6 or more points.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet against the Bulldogs at home ever.
Yeah, not me.
So, like what Bain's been doing, man, but as my boy Chosen said in the chat, fraudulent. I think this is where Bain. I think Bain is it might be his worst game, man. It might be his worst game.
All right, so next game at 4 p.m. Eastern. Also, we got the Shamrocks and Tom Wilson traveling into the Fortress to take on Coach Frankie J and the Dreadnoughts. For my spreads in that game, I have the Dreadnoughts winning this by 4 or more points.
Yep, I like it. Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, I like that too.
Coach Frankie, man, gonna get it done.
All right. Moving on to the 6 p.m. slot, we have the Marshals, who are 0-3 right now, taking on another 0-3 team. One team's going to get their first win of the season. It's the Pioneers hosting the Marshals in Pittsburgh. And for the spreads, I have the Marshals winning by 6 or more points.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Marshals over Pioneers. I'm
more shocked that the Marshals are as bad as they are than I am that the Pioneers are as bad as they are. So I'm going to take that.
Wait, hey, who does Crisscross play for, Smitty?
Aviators.
I forget.
Aviators.
Oh, the Avies. That's right. Sorry, Crisscross. Yep, I'm a hater.
All right. The Bisons and the Bulls. Bisons also another team that is winless, and the Bulls are undefeated. So looking to go 4-0 at home in Brooklyn. And I have the Brooklyn Bulls winning by more than a touchdown, 8 or more points.
I think you got to go with the hot hand right now, and that's the Bulls, man. So I gotta give them.
Yep.
All right. Next game. In the 8 p.m. slots, got the Monarchs taking on the Sentinels, 2-2-1 teams. And someone looking for the third win of the season. And who I think will get it are the Sentinels. I feel that they get it done at home in Orlando and defeat the Monarchs by 4 more points.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good this season too, man. I don't have a problem with that one either, especially with the Ramos stepping down as head coach. So, yeah, I think they get it done, man. I think they scheme it up.
I'm a little on the fence about this because I feel like the Sentinels will win, but I also think there's a possibility that they don't cover the spread.
Okay.
I'll take the Sentinels on the spread, but I if there's one that I would be like, if you're trying to put a bet down this week and you're like, oh, I need one more for sure thing, I wouldn't make it this game because like we saw last week, they'll get the job done, but it's not like they're really, it was only a couple of points, so it could be the same way here since the Monarchs been playing pretty well too.
And again, for guys, I want to incorporate guys just utilizing Neon Sports. So if you're not on Neon Sports now, again, make sure you scan the Neon Sports code that we've shown earlier in the video and get access to this, because this is where I want to try to move the spread to so that you can clearly see it. And then right here is a like button to where you can like who you think's going to win. And then I can use that to determine who won their reloads and got that corrected. So there we go. Try to get involved into that, and you can start putting little bets right now in Neon Sports right there. Going on to the last game of Wednesday, Diablos versus Gunners. So this should be a pretty solid game. But I have the Diablos winning this one, I'm sure. Yep, I got them winning by 8 or more points.
Wow.
Mexico City, definitely.
Yeah, I'll take that. Gunners have just been a shell of themselves this year.
Yeah, tough 0-3 start. And then we get into Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Armadillos Coach Woods traveling to Toronto to take on the Huskies. We know the Huskies have been absolutely hot so far. Only loss coming from the Diablos, and I have the Huskies winning by 8 or more points.
Yeah, Roland. Now you start actually beating some good teams now, man. It's over, bro. L City here for you Dillos. Boy, you better make sure you put on some fur boots too, because it's gonna be cold. It's gonna be cold in Toronto, man. So make sure y'all bundle it up, man. Put some little Dillo booties on your on your armadillo, and maybe get you a shawl on the back of your shell there, because see how y'all rolled up, got the rolled up logo? Well, y'all about to be rolling out of Toronto like a roly-poly, rolling with the polies. Yeah, it's over. L City, yeah. That's my segment there. I was waiting to do that today because it was messing with me earlier.
I was sitting here like pretty much ready to say something, because I'm like, oh, it's gonna be done. Oh, it's gonna be done. It's gonna be done. No.
Hella puns on roly polies and rolling.
Oh, you know what though? This is the game. I sort of like the Sentinels game. This would be a game that Roland, knowing him, would find a way to make competitive and make a close game.
Yeah.
This is right up his alley.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to win the game, but I will not take that spread.
All right, and our next 4 p.m. game, along with that one, will be a NRC West showdown between the Elks and the Condors. And in terms of the spreads, up here, as you can see as I click on it, I have the Condors winning by 11 or more points.
You after last week, man. I'm a believer. 45 last week. What was it?
38, and that's against the Miners.
Yeah.
And they were holding that game too.
Yeah, I just had a come to Jesus moment about the Condors.
What's that?
So I forgot when I made my schedule that there was a new logo.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at the logo the longest. I'm like, why is it doing what it's doing? And I just realized that it's because it's a C for Condors.
Oh, yeah, Bill, you got to bound.
Oh, the Condors? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'm
crazy.
like, why does it look like a snake bird? What is happening here?
Snake bird.
But now I get it.
Yeah.
I'll take the spread. Go Condors. Go snake birds.
Snake birds is crazy. Said Bill Fried. Speaking of Bill, he's going to be on the road in London taking on Gino Gannon and the Hot Black Knights, man. And of course, this is without their starting quarterback in Daryl Johnson and without DeMarco Landolt. So that did affect my thoughts on this spread. And I am actually really going with the Black Knights to win by a field goal.
You think the Black Knights going to light up this defense?
I think they got the ability to, especially when you got a key piece missing on both sides.
Yeah. Bill, I'm worried about your offense, man. I'm worried. I don't know.
You are, huh?
Bradley? Yeah, I'm worried, man.
Oh, that makes two of us. I mean,
that boy, 2G.
Bertuzzi's crazy.
Bertuzzi.
I might
That
roll
boy
up my
Bertuzzi,
son
man.
out there instead. I don't know
Yeah.
yet.
And then Mari, you know, Mari, man. Mari got the rivalries here, man. Boy, oh boy, Bill. Man, Bill. Yeah, I will just keep it honest. We got to keep it honest, man. Hey, I think the Black Knights might have you this week, Bill.
Look,
Without
I'm
DJ,
not even
man.
mad about it. I'm not
All
even
right,
mad about
yeah.
it. We are missing
Yeah.
the entire left side of our line, which is also where two of our
Yeah.
best linemen are. We're missing our starting quarterback. We're missing our best defensive player. Not like overall wise, but just impact wise. And we're also still trying to figure out exactly what DJ wants to do on offense anyway with our playbook. So that's also up in the air. So I'm not surprised at anybody having any doubt because I've got doubt and I've never say that. So
Yeah. I got you.
So that's the start of the 6 p.m. Eastern games. Going along with that, we got the Lumberjacks in the Barons, and I have the Barons expected to win that game by 6 or more points. Especially, I'll say my reasoning too behind it is how easy it was for Geno Gannon really to air that ball out. We know they've had trouble with the cornerbacks. If he had trouble against that offense with throwing the football, Barons are really at least they're supposed to kill you, bombing the ball to their deep threats, and I think that's really going to kill Lumberjacks.
Call the cops when you see Kupak, man. He's gonna go crazy, man. Who was the cornerback for the Lumberjacks?
Corrigan?
Antonio Corrigan.
Corrigan out there, 31. Yeah. Whoa, hold up. Belt
turkey.
You better not put Corrigan on Kupak, man.
Man,
that's a wrap.
It's crazy. That's their best corner, man. So that's their best guy. So if Q on,
Q about to get 10 touchdowns, man.
All I know is Breaker better be throwing that thing. It's all about Breaker. If he's on, it's over. If he's not,
bro,
that's gonna be tough.
Q about to go crazy, man. Boy, all right.
I think in this one, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the Barons with that spread.
Yeah. All right, and we move on now to the final 8 p.m. Eastern games for Thursday in the Premier games. We got the Tigers and the Thunderbirds. Rivalry still going on there, and I have the Thunderbirds coming back and winning this one by 4 or more points. Another reason, I guess I haven't given most reasons for most games, but the reason I feel that Thunderbirds might win this in the spread is where it's at, is because Thunderbirds, even when they do win, they don't win in the fashion an elite team typically does. And what I mean by that is they're not going to blow you out. They can, but depends on how bad you do against their defense. But I think with the offense too, they kind of struggle. I am going with a different offensive playbook for this team too. I do feel like Philly's worked in the past, but we're going to give something else a try. And the Tigers, they kind of shocked me with how they played against the Huskies. Again, I thought they would be a little bit better in that department. So there are some injuries on the Thunderbirds defense though that could help out the Tigers. And so that's why I got the spread where it's at. I got the Thunderbirds winning at home by 4 more points.
Yeah, it's not gonna be an easy game, man. I know the Thunderbirds are a powerhouse, but the Tigers definitely play tough against big opponents, man. So I'm actually gonna play a little underdog here, and I'm gonna say Tigers might scrape through and get this win, man. Especially with Thunderbirds dropping those 2 games. That's morale dips, and Kai Cash. Sometimes, boy, he can put up some points, man. So if LC3 is having one of those days, sheesh. So I'm gonna say Tigers are the upset.
I'm gonna take Thunderbirds.
All right. And the last 8 p.m. Eastern game, the Red Dragons and the Celtic Tigers. And I have the Red Dragons losing to the Celtic Tigers by a field goal or more.
I'll take that with CT. Yeah.
I'm gonna say San Diego bounces back this week. Upset on the road.
All right. Both teams 1-2 on the season as well, so that should be a great matchup. And the last game of the week, coach versus coach game. I'm in the booth closing out the week with this. The Cougars and the Voyagers, Coach Baker and Coach Roby. One team looking for their first win of the season, the other one trying to get out of a drought. This is going to be a huge statement game for what could shift the season for these teams. And I have the Voyagers favored to win by 2 or more points.
Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead, Bill.
I was gonna take. This is what I was gonna do. I thought this was gonna be like maybe a 3.5 point or something like that, and I was gonna take Voyagers, but not to cover the spread. But with it being literally 1.5 points, I'll just take the Voyagers. But what I will say is this is exactly what I think is gonna happen. Like both of these teams have had such close games all season. Like I just feel like, yeah, this is bound to be like a 19-21 type of game or something like that.
Yeah, I absolutely hate playing Baker, man. He's just so smart, and he's like the toy soldiers guy, man. He got his little players, and he's moving around and everything, and he's really upset, man. So I'm gonna have to be doing a lot of work this week here. I'm not gonna call this game at all, man. I'm just gonna say that we're getting back to some basics here. I didn't make some announcements. Look, we tested out Ledger last week. I wasn't liking the system that I saw. Me and the OC are working together. McCall is coming back into the game. And I think McCall's going to be the starter for the rest of the season. We're just going to do what we got to do, man. It is what it is, man. We go 0-17, we go 0-17. We go, 8-9, whatever. I don't care. McCall's coming back in. I'm going to re-implement some more of my stuff, and then also the OC stuff that he's working on. And so I think it should be a good game. I just hope we can, keep the games close as usual, and get ourselves maybe our first win here in our first primetime game, because we haven't had a primetime game this season. It's kind of weird for us too, man. It's very weird. 0-3, no prime times for the Chicago. I'm feeling like season 4 all over. I'm saying,
yeah, isn't that sort of weird how like
yeah,
we haven't had no primetime games. Like I had one.
Yeah, well, when we were discussing
It's like he knew we were gonna come in limping or something.
What happened is I had most of the powerhouse teams were taking up all of the games, because actually the way I was going to go with the season until you guys, Bill and Dunn stepped up trying to do, commentate, even of course Mix, because he chose to take on Tuesdays too. Like that has allowed us to stream 4 games with commentary now. So because of that, like at first it was literally just going to be Monday, Friday, that's it. Everything else pre-recorded. There wasn't going to be no Tuesday action. There wasn't going to be anything on, from there. So it would have been Monday, then Wednesday premieres, and then boom. Would have had a lot more premiere games. But now that we have that, we were trying to fill it so that teams that you're seeing right now that are getting playing time, later in the season, the big end teams are going to be like getting that. But then again, we are going to also be switching it based off of how the season's going. So if we get to like week 14 and those big teams aren't balling, whoever's balling at that point that has a crucial game, we're going to try to put them in that slot instead.
I will say this is a rematch too of the season 7
playoff
ARC wild card between me and when he absolutely strapped
40-18.
Yeah. And that made me want to go get receivers, because I was like, man, what in the world happened there, man? You strapped us, bro. So, yeah, Baker, I'm ready, bro. I'm ready, man. I'm get to work. I'm glad it's on Friday, so I got some time, to work and do what I got to do, man. So, yeah.
All right, so that is it in terms of that. But I will bring up this news here. So, Coach Baker running the Voyagers page. If you want to go ahead and follow the Voyagers. And just keep up with information on them. Go to Instagram and type in at or just RFL _Houston _Voyagers. And he posted two posts today. Got 2 posts. I don't know what's going on there. But 2 posts today, and it seems like he is not satisfied with Glenn Hay. It's really looking as though it's definitely some confrontation going on there. He might be looking to move him on.
Are you showing a graphic right now?
No, I'm not.
Are you showing a graphic?
Okay. No, because I didn't get the graphic to put, but I just wanted to talk about it. If you guys want to see the graphic and the post about it, go to Instagram and again go to RFL _Houston _Voyagers and check out his last 2 posts. Glenn Hay is looking frustrated. He says it's frustrating when your head coach can't remember how well you've played. And that's just the end game stuff right there. And then you got Baker on the podium and on his latest post, and it says, I'm not sure I agree. His stats haven't been that impressive. Then he shows the statistics of Glenn Hay being 26th in passing yards for just 644 yards over the course of 3 games with 3 touchdowns and an 85.5 passer rating. So based off of that, guys, are you thinking it's time, the time of Glenn Hay is over with, of course, with this start now at 1-2, and, if he does not perform well in this week's game, they start 1-3, are we looking at Monty Wyatt possibly coming in and being that guy?
All I can say is, we make decisions and we got to live with those decisions. So the advice I can give to Baker is, if you think in your heart, that this guy is not going to get you to where you need to be, then by all means, man. I see the guys already saying, was it the Monty area?
Yeah, the community is going to be all
Monty,
for Monty.
Yeah, they want Monty, man. The full Monty is out there. And, sometimes you just got to make those decisions, bro. I had the same thing with Rob Slater, after his great season he had for us, pushed us to the RSC championship, I knew he wasn't going to be that guy the next season. So I had to make a decision. So Baker's just got to make the decision for himself, man. Just don't put him in yet. Matter of fact, maybe put him in.
What's your take on this, Bill?
Monty needs to relax because it's Jared Cunningham's time first. Okay. Everybody wants to see Jared Cunningham. We don't want Wyatt. We want Cunningham, right?
I don't know, Bill.
He's put the time in. He's put the time in.
Yeah. Cougars want Cunningham.
No. Wait, yeah. Dang it. Yeah. We want Cunningham.
Oh, man.
That's all I got.
All right, yeah. So that's it in terms of the key parts, key points that we wanted to dive in here for this podcast. Of course, we're going to leave things open for the community. If there's any questions you guys got for us, we'll go ahead and look about answering a few of those before we roll up out of here. I'm looking to see if there's anything else. Oh yeah,
you're tripping, Glenn Sharp.
What Glenn say?
Let's look at this too. I forgot to do this. I did this last week just so guys who haven't been a part of Neon Sports or just for whatever reason won't get it. Let's go to statistics and look at our leaders just real quick. It shows the top 5. You can get all the access to everything in here. So currently going into week 4, the top offense in the RFL is the Aviators with 457 yards per game. The next is the Armadillos. We've seen that passing attack be very ferocious with 426. Black Knights at number 3 with 421. Steamers number 4 with 413. And the Barons, we talked about again that explosive passing attack. If Ranker's on 402, top 5 offense and as a whole in the league. But now looking at the passing, we have the Dillos, number 1 passing offense in the league with 390 yards they're averaging a game. And the next closest team is the Steamers, and they're almost a whole 60 yards underneath with 334. Sentinels are number 3 with 322, pretty much 333 a game. Tigers at number 4 with 320, and the Bulls at number 5 with 315. And then for rushing on the offensive end of the ball, the Aviators, number 1 rushing. They got the number 1. Okay, never mind. I thought they were at top of the passing, but they got the number 1 rushing offense. And of course, 2K and Kyle Bain is killing it as they average 163 yards per game. Desperados right there at number 2. Now we got Marquise Washington scrambling along with Tavion Hall. That adds up yards. I think he had 82 yards in against the Explorers this week too. So getting that and 100 if you can, with Tavion Hall, that offense is explosive. But that's 161 pretty much yards per game for them. At number 3, the Bulldogs have been running well. Their running back currently leads the RFL in rushing yards. We can scroll down a little bit just to get a look at that. And Matt Wheaton, you can see right here. Matt Wheaton, we'll get into that, but that's crazy. He's got 400 yards on the ground already. And at number 4, the Snowhawks, 130 rushing yards a game. Number 5, the Shamrocks with 123 pretty much. Before I hop on anything you guys want to say about those about offenses right now, top 5 offenses?
I feel like we're in a twilight zone. I feel like we're in the twilight zone. Okay. Half the teams I'm seeing, like, I'm just coming to grips with this thing. Like, we got the Armadillos, the Aviators, the Black Knights, and the Barons as the top 5 offenses in the RFL. What is this place? Can somebody pinch me and wake me up?
Bill's in disbelief. What's your thoughts on this here, Rob?
I can't even hear.
I don't think you say anything. Oh, are you muted? Rob, you there? Hello?
Yeah.
Wait, nope. No.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's good. It's a piece.
Glitching out, man. Can you guys hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
What's
man.
your thoughts?
I don't have any comment yet, man. I have no comment, bro. It ain't balanced out yet, man. So just I don't have a comment with this. I feel Bill's sentiment, but no, we're not at peak football yet, Chrome. Don't gas it. It's not peak yet until week 10.
All right, now looking at the passing leaders, leading the RFL in passing yards. Chumlee still with over almost 200 more yards. I'd say over 150 more, closer around there with 1,217 yards, 8 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Number 2 is the last year's MVP and Reed Wagner with 1,071. Same statistics in terms of touchdown interception ratio. Talked about Devin Wade. No interceptions so far, 1,048 yards and 7 touchdowns. Kai Cash has 7 touchdowns and 3 interceptions for 1,021 yards. And then DeAndre Wilkins Jr. just over 1,000 with 1,003. 5 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. So not the best touchdown interception ratio there. But let's look at who's doing bad at the quarterback position right now. Leading in interceptions, though, is the Season 8 champs, Timmy Merritt, has 5 touchdowns to 4 interceptions with his team, 3-0, looking to go 4-0 this week. Then we have Lane Kearney, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for him. Chumlee, we went through that with 8 for 3. Geno Cannon's got 3 interceptions, but he's got 7 touchdowns. And then we got Eric Fisher in here with 4 touchdowns with 3 interceptions. So these are your top guys in terms of picks right now. Touchdowns thrown. I talked about Jabri Jackson leading the league. He's got 9 touchdown passes despite the team being 0-3 to just 2 interceptions. Reed Wagner went over his. Same with Chumlee. Ryan Branker in the top 5 in touchdown passes with 7 to just 2 interceptions. And we went over Geno Cannon's stuff right there. When we get into the rushing into things, this is crazy. Matt Wheaton in 3 games, 403 yards, and I believe he's leading the league in rushing touchdowns, which we'll get to when we get to that touchdown section, but that is crazy. 403, 5 touchdowns. Jacob McDonald's been in the end zone 1 time in his 3 games, close to 300 yards with 298. And look at the average, too. 6.4 yards a carry for Wheaton and 5.42 for Jacob McDonald. Darius Young, and this guy's not even supposed to be the starter for the Crusaders, but Marlon Marshall's been out for an injury, and Young has filled in pretty nicely, 297 yards, close to 300 and a touchdown. And we had Saeed Gore for the Boston Shamrocks. He's been balling 281 and 2 touchdowns. Again, he's averaging 5.4 yards a carry. Darius skipped him, but CB 5.03. And then Tavion Hall still in the top 5. He's got 275, 2 touchdowns, with a 4.58 yard per carry average. And if we're looking at overall averages here, we're not even going to look at this because they're just only bringing up quarterbacks. So let's go to the touchdowns. And actually, Corey Leonidas is tied up with Matt Wheaton in touchdowns with 5. So that's the guy. He's got 224, but his average under 4 yards per carry right now with the Huskies with 3.45. So we're going to have to get that up. Anthony Savoy, the quarterback here, he's got 3 rushing touchdowns in the top 5. And Geno Cannon's got 3 as well. Geno Cannon already 141 rushing yards on the season there for him. Savoy with 60. Trey Worsley, he is not doing well at all right now. Under 3 yards a carry, but he's gotten in the end zone every game with 3 touchdowns and for 154 yards only so far this year. So big concern there with Worsley and how his plays dipped off. And then we get into the receiving end of things. Jordy Johnson leading all receivers by almost 100 yards. 466 yards and 5 touchdowns, averaging 17.92 yards a catch. C.J. Robinson, number 2 in yards with 372 yards, 2 touchdowns on the season for him. Keith Guyton right there behind him with 357.
Behind him.
I guess where he ain't behind him though. Oh, look at those touchdowns. But anyway, 357 yards and 4 touchdowns for him. And call the cops when you see Q-Pod. Got 5. He got 5 of them things for 356. Did I say what?
Interesting you said that.
Well, what part did I say?
When you said that, look, he has more touchdowns. Because I remember specifically a couple of years ago, you told me Keith Guyton was better than CJ because he had more yards.
Overall, he had more yards.
You changed it.
No,
you changed it. No, yeah, you did.
I don't.
CJ better. CJ better.
That 1 year, he was better.
CJ better.
Yeah. Now, but Stanley Kempfort for the Tigers. This OA is balling. He got 2 touchdowns with 328 yards passing. Looking at the average here, though, they don't really have starters up here, so we can't even really look at this. But a starter in Cole Cruz, he's there, so he's averaging starters with 22.64 yards a catch. He's got 3 touchdowns, so that's one guy we could look at. And touchdowns leading, Q-Pac tied for the most with Jordy Johnson. 2 long-haired guys, same faces, just killing it. DeAndre Cain's got 4 touchdowns. He's got 309 yards as well. We talked about Keith Guyton with the 4. And the rookie out of Wisconsin. I know Rob, Bill's excited about that. I think it's, hold up. Is this Corvette? Yeah, this is Corvette. Tevin Corvette. He's got 3 touchdowns. So he actually missed the first game on accident. He wasn't even built on the team, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So now we get to the defensive side of things. All right. Number 1 defense, along with the number 1 offense right now, is the Aviators. So their defense as a whole is only allowing 200 and pretty much 14 yards a game. Diablos, 236 yards a game given up at 2. At 3, we have the Monarchs with 262, pretty much 263. Desperados with 288 pretty much. And the Condors, number 5, with 291. And then we get a look at who's the best against the pass. The Aviators against the pass only giving up 175 yards a game. And of course,
what?
Yeah, the Elks. I guess many teams just haven't passed against them. That's the only thing I can think of.
This whole list I'm done with. The whole list.
And 83 yards a game they give up passing wise. And honestly, I'm gonna say this about the Elks though. Their secondary is actually pretty decent. I forgot they got JT Casey. They got Garrison Ash. They got the corners pretty good out there too, 2 of them. So that's not too surprising. Their defense has always been actually pretty decent. I forgot about that. But the Diablos at 197 giving up at 3. Monarchs almost 200 at 198, pretty much 199, and Condors at 5 pass defense 202. Best running defense in the league. Man, the Aviators. No wonder why these dudes. We talk about the Aviators and how we're shocked about them on offense. This right here kind of showing we should be shocked about these guys on defense too. They do have some decent pieces on defense, and they're doing good, man.
But Chosen made a good point there. That Bison's game really sort of catapulted all of these stats for them.
Yeah, but then they played the Red Dragons and put up 49 points and really didn't give up nothing to the Red Dragons until towards the end when it was garbage time. So, what do we say to that point, about the Aviators doing that? Of course,
I'm not saying they're having a bad defense. I'm just saying like they're inflated to every top of every list here because that game holy man, that game was bad.
Yeah, that was bad. Only 39 rushing yards given up for the Diablo. These 2 guys definitely shut it down. Dreadnoughts number 3 with only giving up 52 yards pretty much. Bulls.
This is average.
Yep. Average yards given up per game. Yep.
Average yards.
Yeah. Yep. And Bulls giving up on average 54 yards per game. Bulldogs 55 yards per game. So that's all the overall defenses in the league. Tackle leaders for the Dallas Desperados. Juan Crosby's got 21 tackles. These are solo, by the way, guys. Assists are not included. Ricky Tootley, we talked about him, Rob. He's got 20 tackles. He also got an interception on the season. I forgot to mention that Juan Crosby got a sack. Ray Franklin, strong safety, 19 tackles coming down, making plays. Reed Holmberg of the Celtic Tigers, 19 tackles, got a half a sack as well. And Roland Carter of the Black Knights, middle linebacker, 19 tackles and a sack to go there. Looking at who's leading in interceptions in the RFL, it's Taylor Mays, a linebacker off the Steamers. He's been absolutely killing it. He's got 3 interceptions, and the Barons cornerback Damari Sparks is tied with him with 3 interceptions. He's got 8 tackles and 16 for Taylor Mays. Jason Alexander of the Huskies, he's been playing very well. He got those 2 interceptions in one game. He got 5 tackles, and that's all we got right there to show. Shane Masters of the Bulldogs, 10 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 interceptions. Wow, he's doing a great job. And Jay Hayden, the rookie out of Miami, 11 tackles, 2 interceptions. Almost done here. Honestly, going through kicking, you guys can look at that.
Ain't no way.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
You read all these kickers.
Yeah, we're not doing it. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Yeah, man, we ain't gonna do that. I just wanted to go through. I know it's a long segment, but I do want to be able to.
This man just read every stat in the RFL history.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, they don't need the app. They don't need the app.
Yeah, so I'm just giving the top 5, man. I'm just giving the top 5. But yeah, now it's free to you guys. Any questions, we'll look to answer.
Get some water too, man. I know you got the cotton mouth right now.
Yeah, your mouth is dry right now for sure, man.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Ash just didn't
rise. Jalen Brooks wants to know if he can change his jersey number. He asked that a while ago. So.
Jalen Brooks, yeah, you can, depending on what we have available. And it's got to be within the rules, of course.
Any questions at all? Any questions for you guys?
Shark wants to know if you're going to talk to him after the pod.
Probably not. I have a lot to do league-wise tomorrow. I was supposed to even do the free agency. I got started pretty far on the list. I do have the file ready for the coaches. So coaches, you are watching this. The free agent file is built. The thing that I have to do now is I've gone through the NRC for RFL free agents. Now I just have to make a list for ARC. At first I was going to do a video, but I knew it was going to get confusing. So I'm making an Excel spreadsheet that has all the RFL, like people who are in the RFL free agent pickups that you can get. They'll have their name, it'll have their age, the points that you have to spend for them, and also their rating and stuff like that. And if you want to look into that, then
we even need the other file then, if that's the case.
Oh yeah, because they have different free agents because it was split. Like there's different RFL free agents. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, didn't you say you created a file, or did you like import them into the?
No, well, I just advanced like 20 years in the future, so it's like that file is already created. So that file is built where it's nothing but generic players. Free coaches can sign anyone from 70 below, but they must be 25 years older or above. So you can't no longer pick up a dude who's younger or the same age as a rookie that could come out the RFL draft. It's got to be 25 years or older to be picked up.
Gotcha.
We really got to get on the next year, man. Got to just get on the free agency and make sure that, you know what I mean? It'd be more realistic if we just had the players who were in the foul on our teams, man. So got to figure that out for next year. How to
it's all about, and it's hard to do, which is I just don't think it depends on if we got the time. If we build those teams fast enough, you know, because I mean this year we were moving. You know, shout out to the guys who helped build the teams at RFL, get this stuff going this year. But man, we
almost need to have one person. We almost need to have one person doing the free agency
dedicated
alone.
To free agents.
Just do free agents. You know what I'm saying? And
keep track of cuts and whatnot, or non-re-signings or whatever for each team, and then we just compile the list.
Yeah.
And maybe we can like reserve one team where they utilize that team to build free agents on, and that'll be the last team we build together. That way that they could just get all the free agents done, sign, cut, right? And then we'll do that. We'll do that team as a unit at the end when everything's all done. You know. So yeah.
So any other questions? Are we good?
Is there upgrades available for this week?
No upgrades will be available week 5 because it goes every 4 weeks. So week 1 you upgraded, 4 weeks later is week 5.
Who is Awkward Boy, Smitty? He says how to re-sign with the team since I think my contract is almost up. I think.
If I'm not
Who is this
mistaken, I
player?
believe he's Damari Williams for the
Oh, okay.
Celtic Tigers. Let me know if I'm
Okay.
wrong, Oakwood boy. But if that's the case, I don't think your contract it's stubs. Oh, never mind. You're talking about you're probably still in your rookie stuff. This is an easy way to tell right here. Let's use Neon Sports, man. Show you how cool Neon Sports is, man. We go to go to the player. No, let's go straight to the team. Yep. And what we talking about here? He say you on the Black Knights. All right, we go to the Black Knights. Let's go ahead and look at the roster. And let's go ahead and look at Stubbs right there, man. Wow. What the contract looking like? Years pro. I mean, that ain't.
Was his last year?
Yep.
Where's it at? I don't know why I can't see it right now. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So your contract's about to come up.
Here's left one. Oh, it was for the length.
Yeah. Do understand. This is when that rule
you
comes
still
into play. No, I found it.
Okay.
Yeah, I finally located it. But yeah, do understand this is where if the team needs you, which most likely we do, dog. Get ready for that second contract, my guy. Let me look at the depth chart. Because if we looking at this depth chart and you are 80, secondary, yeah.
No, he says he'd rather stay with BK. He just wants to know when he could. I guess he meant like re-sign. When can he re-sign?
Oh yeah, and Black Knight's got money, bro. So you're fine. One thing though that can kill a team from re-signing you is if they can't sign you in the actual game. So that's the only way you can finesse and get out is if in game the player, after the attempts of the coach tries to sign the guy back, does not take it. And if that happens, then if your player hits free agency, you are now free to move. So
CP.
yeah, I mean, and that makes sense because what did I say when it came to safeties? If they already on the team, cool, yeah, I keep them. But am I going to trade for one? No, I ain't going to do that. We don't pick up safeties, man. We keep what's already there. You can go ahead and slide with a 75 or 70. You can get by with a safety that's all right.
That's crazy. Safeties are people too, and they deserve respect.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm not trading nothing for no safety, man. Might as well just hit the draft, bro. You're going to find a safety that's decent enough in the draft. You don't need to get, I think it's the only position you could really slide by without having nothing too crazy. There's no other position you can say that for, in my opinion.
That's just horrible to say.
Hey man, y'all might want to try it, man.
You want to know what else
money.
you can get by with? You can probably get by with a running back. You can probably get by with a tight end.
I don't know about the running back. You got a trash running back.
Are you kidding me? Baker put out there a 68 overall dude and almost destroyed the entire playoffs with him. Don't tell me that you can't put a running back in there and watch him play well.
But it works sometimes, man. Like I feel like if you get a decent, like somebody with some good speed so they don't get burnt, even if they're in the 70s in zone coverage, and you put that dude at free safety, you're good. Like he could be trashed most of everywhere else, but as long as he can't get cooked, that's all right. I'm not expecting this guy to make a tackle. You know, he shouldn't.
Well, you know what, guys? I appreciate safeties, and I think that they make a difference.
Yeah, a good one gonna play better than one that ain't better. Yeah, if they're better, they're gonna make plays. But yeah, a good example is seeing Jeffrey Colvin on the Thunderbirds.
You know, it was good that you just cut out there. It was good because you're talking crazy.
There's a question. Will cap breakers be available week 5?
Man, still ain't even. Yeah, still ain't even get a chance really to get to that, bro. I still got stuff even to do for the league. I'll try my best to try to get to that for y'all, man. But at the very least, if for whatever reason I can't get, it should happen this season. I should get some time. I heard I might be off school, not this Tuesday coming up, but the Tuesday after that. So maybe I'll devote that time if I don't have anything else to do to try to get that for y'all. So at least maybe like week 7 if possible.
CP. Ahar.
You talk about got it. How y'all get me? I mean, literally, that's exactly what I said, though.
No, actually, I was talking about if your awareness and play rec is buns, you're a horrible safety.
You could get by without that, though. If a dude's in the 68 on both of those, I'm still good as long as he's got a 95 speed or something like that to get by. You're not even gonna find these safeties.
Crazy,
bro. I'm telling you, man. You could get by with a free. Now strong, yeah, no, not really. A free, just give me a fast guy back there. That's all I really need, bro. Like somebody who ain't gonna get cooked, and he gonna make tackles from time to time.
You know, I feel like safeties are almost like they are the position that get less like. They almost get as little recognition as offensive linemen do. Like the reason you think safeties are so bad is because you don't see them getting burnt all the time. You want to know why you don't see them getting burnt all the time? Because they're stopping the players from running past them freely.
Well, not them. Most of the time, you got the first two levels of the defense that are going to stop him before he even has to tackle. So do I care too much about him tackling? Nah. A strong safety, yeah, I care more about him tackling. But if you got a fast, free safety, your job for me that is the most important is to make sure that we don't get cooked deep. If you can do that and you can make a tackle if a guy comes to you after he's got by three guys, that's all I need you to do. That's literally all I need you to do.
Does. A free safety's got to drop down in the box and play in the hook curl zones. Sometimes they got to drop down to the flats. Sometimes they got to play man up. Sometimes they got to blitz. They got to do everything a normal strong safety or corner or linebackers got to do for the most part. And your disrespect will not be tolerated. And I slammed something on my desk in protest.
That was the softest slam I've ever heard in my life.
Well, I mean, it was the cover to my camera. So, I mean, it wasn't exactly heavy.
But you could get by, bro. Like, that's all I'm saying. You can get by. You don't need. Now, if I got it's a difference between a good safety and one that ain't. I'm not saying it's not.
It matters.
It definitely matters in a sense. If I could have a better one than the one I got, I could do that. But if I don't have that.
That is some circular reasoning if I've ever heard it in my life.
Because look, if the guy's already on the team, okay, I'll pay him. But if he's not on the team, why would I pay anything to get something I could just replace and develop with somebody who's just fast? I'm all right with sticking with the
said a good one matters.
It matters, but not enough for me
to spend
anything.
I don't need a good quarterback because, I mean,
that's a whole different.
They're all get the job done. They all throw the ball down the field.
Nah, that's different. See, as long as dude is good enough to cover deep.
All right, I went a little overboard with the quarterback thing. I'll admit that, but you get what I'm saying.
Not really, man.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, let the
I know one's better, but it's not worth spending a pick or anything like that for. In my opinion, I wouldn't do that.
Okay, fine. Just let him wear single digits then. Since
Nah. Look. And the crazy thing, the safeties, they can't wear team numbers. Only the corners.
What kind of stupid rule is that?
Yep, that's what it is, man. That goes to show you, I didn't want that to be a rule in the first place because I gave him his only cornerback.
No. This is what you did. This is what you do. You did the most Smitty thing ever. You took a thing that you didn't like, right? And then you made the change worse than what the actual thing that you were avoiding was.
Exactly.
What does that do?
Cornerbacks, one of the teams, they got it. But guess what? Safeties, y'all keep wearing them 20. They ain't trying to see no safety and no team number, especially no singles. Y'all want a single? Y'all go to 7-Eleven and get a pack of Marlboros.
Wait, safeties can't have teams.
Safeties can't have teams, but corners can.
But
corners are interchangeable with free safeties, so they mean the same, but they also don't, depending on what Smitty's feeling that day.
I might look into that now too, man. You know what I mean? If you go over there, you gotta change your number.
If you what?
So a safety can't have a team.
Nah.
Do you understand this at all, Rob? Because I don't.
He's
trying to figure out where the reasoning comes from there. You ain't going to find it, buddy. I'll
give it to a corner. I didn't even want to do it. I'm going to say that. I just want to do it. I only gave it to corners.
Wait, a cornerback can wear... So a cornerback can wear 13, 14,
11,
15, 16, 17, 18.
But not
19.
A safety.
Yeah.
But a safety can't wear...
A safety can still wear the regular Jones of 20.
But why? What is it for? What is the reason?
They don't. I didn't want it in the first place. The corners got it, and I'd rather just have that position. I'm okay with seeing. At this point, I'm okay with seeing a corner wear it because it passed through. But I do not want to see a safety wearing a team number. You could do that in college, but at the pro level, keep the 20s and that stuff. I don't like that. So that's just my jersey rule set, man.
Sheesh.
What's wrong with you? I'm not even talking to you. I'm talking to Cece. What is wrong with you?
What's Cece saying?
I'm over here defending the safeties and DBs to the death, and this guy has the audacity to say, "Oh, Mix and Rob can argue and pressure this man," and then you think, "Oh, well, he's gonna come back and correct and say Bill." No, he comes back and corrects his spelling of Rob and still says Mix and Rob. Forget you, Cece. Don't ever wear single digits now. I'm off of it now. CC ruined it. I don't care anymore.
That's crazy.
But yeah, any other questions, man? Or he said all RFL safeties finna jump. Hey man, bring it on. Bring it on. Best believe the car door will be locked and the facility's closed. I got a bunch of bodyguards.
You did this. Not me. You. This is on you. I want them all to wear 30s numbers and 40s from now on. No 20s.
Yeah, give them 50s.
Sheesh.
Yep. No, you know what? No. 60s. Safeties and corners have to only wear 60s numbers.
No, 101. 3 digits.
I'm done with it now.
You said Mix and Rob saying.
This guy still doesn't get it. You don't deserve single digits.
CC, man, boy.
More like the IQ is single digit right now.
Whatever CC got right now, man. I know that's your lit.
You know the lingo.
Man.
But yeah, man, this podcast definitely ran long. 3 hours, Jesus. But it was fun.
Yeah.
Well,
this podcast,
bro, you read the entire stat line of every player.
My apologies,
hey,
man.
Bill,
I'm gonna do it again
Mix and Rob checked out. Mix and Rob checked out when he started reading the stats, man. I was like, man.
I was feeling the energy just fade. I'm gonna just leave that alone.
I started.
I'm sitting here like, well, maybe he'll just touch on this, and then we're like,
bro,
okay,
I started looking at
here's the 78th line he's reading. Okay, we're still
just ducked off on the side like.
Man. I started looking at DoorDash. I'm like, man, I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I just started looking at all the hoagies. There's hoagies, man. Where are they at? Jeez,
dog, that's crazy, bro. I was like,
yeah, bro. I was just like, here you go, read all these joints.
That's
what they got the app for, man.
I was not expecting this to be so long. I got a cold hoagie sitting here this whole
you
time.
Deserve that. You deserve a cold hoagie.
Cold hoagie. That thing was hot when the podcast started. Today. Oh man, provolone with cheese.
Yo, what was crazy? What was diabolical though, bro? Was he read them joints and then he said, "So what do you guys think about that?" I was like,
"I don't think nothing. I'm over it."
Bro, we just answered 50 questions, bro. Just answered 50 questions. Now we got to answer another 50. Man.
All right, man. We're officially now going to leave that segment out. If you want to know the stats, just go see it on the Sports.
Yeah, that's right. So locked in. He was locked in, bro. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, that's going to be it for the podcast. I appreciate you guys tuning into the 3-hour special. Monday, week 4, Hogs, Miners, Rob in the booth, 7:30. Make sure to tune in. It's your boy Smitty, RFL Commissioner, play-by-play commentator along with Rob and Bill. And we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully we'll have the whole gang and we can do this again. Peace.